gentlemen, welcome to Ariel Helwani's MMA Show!
Back in your life on this Monday, September 9, 2019. Hello again, everyone. I'm Ariel Helwani. Welcome back to the program. Hope you had a lovely weekend. Interesting one in the world of mixed martial arts. A lot has happened since we last spoke last Tuesday. In fact, I would say two really big things happened since we last spoke. Number one, UFC 242 happened, and in particular, Khabib Nurmagomedov retained his UFC lightweight title. He defeated Dustin Poirier in the third round via submission. It was a very impressive performance. Look, I had some concerns that maybe he became a little too famous, that maybe all this was getting to his head. He has become one of the most famous fighters of all time. In my opinion, he's probably number two most famous Muslim athlete in the world today, behind Mo Salah of Liverpool FC. And so this whole event was built around him, and he was the star. And you wonder, we've seen this happen before. We've seen fame and money change fighters. They take their foot off the gas. You wonder how they're going to respond. He responded just as impressively as ever, just as dominant as ever. He was suffocating. He was stifling. He was aggressive in there. First round, I thought it was a 10-8 against Poirier, covering his face, relentless, not letting him breathe. Plus, you consider the heat in there. That must have been miserable for Dustin Poirier. Credit to Poirier, came back in the second round, had his moments very early on the feet, but again, later on, it was more of Khabib Nurmagomedov. And then, of course, in the third round, there was that guillotine choke, which looked like it could have submitted him. It looked like it was tight. It looked like he had locked it in, but credit once again to Khabib, gets out, and then eventually he is able to finish Dustin Poirier. Great win, ended on a very good note, jumping out of the cage, hugging Dana White, the t-shirt swap, donating or saying that he would donate the proceeds of the t-shirt that he was wearing, Poirier's t-shirt, to Poirier's Good Fight Foundation. You couldn't help but feel for Dustin Poirier, a guy who we have followed now for 10 years, a guy whose journey we've become emotionally invested in thanks to documentaries like Fightville and all the great work that he's done. He's just one of the good people in this sport. And so it was hard to watch him that sad and heartbroken afterwards. I remember interviewing him after his loss to Chan Sung Jung in Fairfax, Virginia back in 2012. He was on the cusp of a title shot and lost that fight. It came backstage to do the interview with Fuel TV and was just absolutely heartbroken. This was 10 times worse. But he will be back, and he's one of the great representatives of the sport. And that was quite the scene, as we expected in Abu Dhabi. And so now we hope they're going to make the Tony Ferguson fight. We hope that we'll finally get to see it. They've tried 4 times in the past. Khabib is now 12-0 in the UFC. Tony Ferguson has won 12 in a row. These two guys have to fight. The 5th time has to be the charm. This has to be the fight. No ifs, ands, or buts. None of this, if Tony accepts it, we'll go to Conor. No, it has to be the fight. Unequivocally. There needs to be a resolution to the Tony Ferguson-Khabib Nurmagomedov story. And I think Conor should fight the winner of Justin Gaethje versus Donald Cerrone. That's this weekend in Vancouver. But that's the fight that needs to happen. And so we'll see if it happens. And later in the show, we'll talk to Tony Ferguson about the fight. Last week, we had him on the show. Now we'll get his thoughts on the fight. So that was one of the big stories. But then, of course, another big story, maybe even a bigger story, was the UFC getting the Nathan Diaz versus Jorge Masvidal fight done. November 2nd, Madison Square Garden, the Mecca, the world's most famous arena. Main event, 5 rounds, no title. That's it. Masvidal, Diaz, 305 versus 209. East Coast gangster, West Coast gangster. BMF title, quote unquote, on the line. They got it done. And what a wild journey it was to get that fight done. If you go to ESPN.com/MMA right now, I'll tell you step by step how they got it done. They sort of backdoored into it. After Diaz's win over Anthony Pettis in mid-August, they sent out feelers. It seemed like they were too far apart. They looked at Colby Covington versus Kamaru Usman. That was the fight they wanted. That's the fight they ended up on for MSG. Unfortunately, they couldn't get a deal done with Colby Covington. And then they couldn't get a deal done with Kamaru Usman. In the midst of that, they decided they would do Masvidal versus Usman. They got a deal done with Masvidal, but they couldn't get a deal done with Kamaru Usman. In fact, they even threatened to strip Kamaru Usman and took away all his guest fighter duties in Abu Dhabi. And then they talked to Leon Edwards about a vacant title fight. We almost had a Leon Edwards versus Jorge Masvidal vacant title fight at MSG, November 2nd. But in the midst of all of that, they sent one last Hail Mary to Stockton, to Nate Diaz. And this time he bit. And this time he was eager. This time he was interested. In fact, before the fight was done, 24 hours before the fight was done, and so much could happen in that 24 hours, Nate Diaz started his training camp. That's how into this fight he is. That's how eager he is to get this fight done. And then Thursday afternoon, they got it done. Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern, they got it done. Friday night, they got it signed. Announced it on Saturday. Credit to them for making the fight. Credit to them for recognizing that you don't need a title to headline cards all the time. Some fights, some fighters are bigger than titles. Credit to Masvidal and Diaz for what they have done. Fighters with double-digit losses on their record, they are that big. This fight is that big. It doesn't matter. It matters what they've done right now and what they are doing right now. And Masvidal is red hot with the win over Darren Till in March. And, of course, the win over Ben Askren in July. And we know about what Nate Diaz has become. So this has turned into one of the biggest fights of the year. And it could be one of the biggest fights of all time. At the Mecca, at MSG, it's phenomenal. My one ask is this whole BMF title stuff. Look at that belt right there. NWO belt. That belt was cool because Hogan and company spray painted it on their own. You get what I'm saying? Not because the promotion, WCW, handed it to them. UFC, don't make that belt. Let those guys make the belt. Let it be a rogue belt. Let it be like how Chael walked up with his belt. That's what made it cool. If you hand it to them, it's not cool anymore. It's sort of like the Fedor sweater stuff. It stopped being cool once the promotion started talking about it so much. So I'm down for the BMF title, but it has to come from the fighters. It has to be the people's title. It can't be from the promotion because it makes it less cool and, quite frankly, sort of devalues your belts. Because what's next? Baddest man on the planet belt? Best hair on the planet belt? Biggest gut on the planet belt? Like, where do we stop? So I like it. I love the fact that they're letting their hair down. I love the fact that they're loosening the collar. I love the fact that it's on the promo. I love all of that and more. I love it. I love the fact that this is fun. This is cage fighting. It's supposed to be fun. It's okay to tip your cap to pro wrestling. This is pro wrestling. I'm down with that. But I just feel like there's certain lines that can't be crossed. I'm a stickler for that sort of thing. Subtlety, nuance. I can't wait. November 2nd. So those are the big stories. There's so much to dissect from 242. Today's a hot show. I'm excited. We've got a lot of big names. We got a lot of big people. We got an in-studio guest. There's a lot going on. Let me run down the lineup, and then we'll get to our first guest of the day. .405 Eastern Time. We're going to be joined by Mr. 305. That man right there. The pride of Westchester. The pride of Miami, the pride of Florida, the man who came from the backyards, the man who came from the undercards of the Kimbo Slice barbecue brawls, the man who has reinvented his career this year, the man who went to London and knocked out Darren Till, the man who went to Las Vegas and scored the fastest knockout in UFC history, the man who will compete against Nathan Diaz on November 2nd, Madison Square Garden. Jorge Masvidal is going to join us at 405. Yes, I can't wait. At around 350, we'll be joined by the reigning defending Bellator heavyweight and light heavyweight champion. He defeated Czech Congo on Saturday. Actually, he didn't. I sort of viewed it as a defeat, but the fight ended in a no contest. It was a weird one. Eye poke, all that. It was just bizarre. I've watched the footage a million times. It doesn't seem like an eye poke. I don't know what to make of it. Anyway, we'll get his thoughts. And then we'll get his thoughts on the brawl with Rampage Jackson. Brawl, altercation, fracas, brouhaha, whatever you want to call it. There was a thing that happened. People got pushed. Brawl is a little much. I take that back. But you know what I'm saying. The thing. The fender bender. Fracas, whatever. Anyway, Todd Duffee is also going to join us. He is back. Todd Duffee is back this Saturday. I can't wait. 4.5 years it's been since his last fight. Todd Duffee's fighting Jeff Hughes Saturday in Vancouver. This is the fight I'm most looking forward to. Forget about Gaethje Cerrone. It's the return of Duffman. We'll talk to him. We'll talk to Tony Ferguson, 3:30. Disclaimer, I spoke to Tony Ferguson on Saturday. He wanted to talk immediately after 242. A portion of that conversation aired on SportsCenter. The entire conversation airs today. First time I've ever done that. Cain Velasquez will join us in studio. Luchador Cain, mask and all, competes Sunday, Madison Square Garden, AAA. He'll join us in studio at around 2:25. 2:05, we'll be joined by Cris Cyborg, newest member of Bellator MMA. She was revealed at the event on Saturday in San Jose. Scott Coker was on the show last Tuesday to help explain the news. We'll talk to her at 2:05. Colby Covington at 1:45. We'll get his take on what happened with the Usman fight, why he's not fighting MSG. Is he still going to fight Usman? Is everything screwed up? What is going on with Colby Covington? And 1:25, we'll talk to Javier Mendez, who, of course, was in the corner of Khabib Nurmagomedov Saturday. Khabib giving him a shout-out, and his father. Great moment there. We'll talk to the head man over at the American Kickboxing Academy. But first, let's go back to the woman who had a massive win Saturday, featured prelim, defeated Andrea Lee, ended her 8-fight winning streak. The pride of Scotland, the pride of Glasgow. Our good friend, Bad Mofo Jojo herself, Joanne Calderwood, is kind enough to join us 2 weeks in a row. What a great pleasure this is. What a nice treat. Let's go to Las Vegas right now and say hello to Joanne Calderwood. Is she there? Okay, we lost her after all that. Talk about a dun-dun-dun-dun. Okay, we'll connect with Joanne Calderwood in a matter of moments. What a great win for her on Saturday. Feature prelim. She gets back on track after losing to Caitlin Chookagian back in June. Frustrated with that performance, frustrated with that fight. Felt like Caitlin Chookagian didn't come to fight. Felt like she was too elusive. Ran away. The Lee fight on Saturday was a fun one. It was like a Muay Thai fight, mixed with some takedowns here or there, in particular in the third round. But it was a lot of striking, and in the end, Joanne Calderwood won. A close one, but I thought she deserved to win. As you see right over there, split decision victory on Saturday. And now the big question is, does she get a title shot? Is there anyone else out there who can fight against Valentina Shevchenko at 125 pounds? That remains to be seen. It was obviously notable. Her post-fight interview was memorable, talking about how hot she was and quote-unquote not in the good-looking kind of way. She wore that rash guard. We'll ask her about it, but I was told from her manager, Danny Rubenstein, that she wore it to pay respects to the culture in the UAE. It was incredibly hot over there. I was told that there were issues with the cooling system, with the air conditioning, with the ventilation. A lot of fighters were huffing and puffing in their post-fight interviews. Don't know how much it actually affected performances per se. There were some fighters early on who were saying that it was hard to breathe. And look, the UFC is going back to Abu Dhabi 4 more times at least. They've got to figure this out. A lot of fighters are probably going to say that they don't want to fight on these cards if it's that hot. We'll see what one of them had to say about the experience of fighting in Abu Dhabi. Do we have Joanne Calderwood? Oh, there she is. Hello, Joanne. After my big intro, I think you missed it, but it's good to have you. How are you? And congratulations. Do you not hear me, Joanne? Do you hear me or no? I don't think she hears me. I'm going to guess that she doesn't hear me. Okay. We're going to call Joanne on her phone. So, yeah, it was really hot there, but there were some good performances, notably Curtis Blades with that vicious ground and pound. What a performance. That guy, that position. Does it get any scarier than that? Curtis Blades on top of you, raining elbows, raining blows, ground and pound. Great win for him. Islam Makhachev with a nice win as well. Thought that was a solid performance. He asked for the winner of Paul Felder versus Edson Barbosa. Paul Felder ended up winning that fight. Super close. I thought he deserved to win, 29-28. I had him losing the first round, but then I had him winning the second and third. Once again, freak accident in the first round affects the fight. First time they fought 4 years ago, it was the low blow. This time, it was the clash of heads, split him open, but I thought he rebounded nicely. There were 2 30-27s on that card in both directions. There was a 30-27 for Edson Barbosa, and there was a 30-27 for Paul Felder. Beyond wacky. But in the end, I think the right guy won. And I saw a report from MMA Junkie where Edson Barbosa's manager Alex Davis said that they were going to appeal the loss. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, I don't know. In the history of MMA, because you see this sometimes after controversial losses where a manager or coach says that they're going to appeal a judge's scorecard. I don't know if in the history, it would be interesting to find this out. Maybe Andrew Davis of the great ESPN Stats and Info Group. Has a decision ever been overturned due to a controversial scorecard? Or scorecards, due to controversial scorecards. Like, I get why people say it. They want to voice their displeasure. But has it ever actually worked? And especially when you're overseas and the commissions are a little different, or there isn't even a commission, is there any point in doing this? Like, are you just sort of wasting your time? I sort of think that you are, but nevertheless, they say they're going to try. Joanne Calderwood, is she going to join us? Or okay, well, let's just do it on the phone. Efforting. Corporate Jake with the corporate speak, saying that they are efforting to connect with Joanne Calderwood. Always good when you have a fired up show and can connect with the first guest. Other notable performances, Don Madge with a nice win. Omari Akhmedov with a win as well over Zach Cummings. Muslim Salikhov. I screwed that up. Salikhov, yes. Muslim Salikhov with the big knockout win over Nordin Taleb. Bilal Muhammad, I was very impressed with. Remember the name, Bilal Muhammad, one of the few fighters on the card who had ties to the Middle East. Atman Azaidar had another amazing knockout on the card. He was the only fighter on the card who actually trains full-time out of the Middle East. Sarah Morris missed weight, but she was able to get the victory. That was unfortunate that she missed weight, especially when your nickname is Cheesecake, and not trying to rag on the lone Canadian fighter on the card, but that was unfortunate. How about Zubaira Taguhov with the win over LaRon Murphy? Excuse me, not the win, the split draw. I actually thought that Murphy deserved to win that fight. But in the end, it was the rare split draw, 28-29, 29-28, and 28-28. Crazy. I told you about Joanne Calderwood, Carlos Diego Ferreira with the unanimous decision win over Merbek Taisumov. Probably the best performance of Carlos Diego Ferreira's career, in my opinion. And then I told you about the rest of the main card: Curtis Blades, Islam Makhachev, Paul Felder, and of course Khabib Nurmagomedov. All right, let's try this one more time. Say hello now to Joanne Calderwood, who I think is joining us on the phone. Joanne, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, sorry about that.
I know, very stressful.
Yes, you're telling me.
Can we FaceTime, or is this okay?
I think we're just going to do it this way.
Okay. I don't know what was going on there. I couldn't hear you. Or
I blame Danny Rubenstein, your manager.
Yeah, but the thing is, we were all set up and we had spoke again, like rehearsed, and it didn't work. So I blame you.
Okay, you can blame me. It's kind of funny. It worked perfectly when you were in Abu Dhabi, but it's not working when you're in Las Vegas. Go figure on that one. But it's all good. Congratulations on the win. Let me first ask you, how's your eye? Because you revealed afterwards on social media that you actually suffered a pretty gnarly cut before the fight. How is it feeling now?
It's fine. Like, you can see a little scar come through. My main concern was, because the fight I had ahead of me, I knew it was going to be a tough one, and the cut couldn't have came at a better time and a better place. So I was just worried for the fight, but luckily it didn't open up, and now I can relax a little bit on it, and it's fine. I'm putting some scar treatment on it, and it will be good to go.
How did you suffer the cut?
I shot in Roxanne's hips, and she's got the sharpest childbearing hips I've ever felt. And it's not the first time that I've got like a black eye or a concussion off hitting her hips. So yeah, it was.
Really?
It was, yeah.
How many other times has it happened?
Twice before.
So this is the third time?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You'd think, yeah, I would learn. And the funny thing is, like, that was my last last sparring before we went out to Abu Dhabi, and I thought before when we were warming up, I was like, maybe I should wear my boxing helmet this session, and the thought went through my mind, and I didn't do it, and then I suffered the first cut of my career in life, actually.
Really?
Never had stitches, yeah.
How many stitches?
3.
Okay. Not too bad. Do you feel like you sort of, like now that was like a rite of passage? Now you got the first cut out of your way. So kind of late in your career too.
Yeah, well, I've been doing this for 20 years, and I mean, I've cut a lot of people, and I feel like karma would come back around, but it's not got me yet.
So I must say,
and if it has, it's only 3, so
it's
I'm
not too bad. I think it's a nice badge of honor. But I have to say, Joanne, I'm watching the fight, and we sort of I mentioned this on your Instagram, but I thought you were kidding. I'm watching the fight, and I notice there's no shaved head. Shaved side head. I don't know what the cool kids call. What do you call that? A side head, shaved head? I don't know. You know what I'm talking about, right? The side of your head was not shaved, and we've already talked about how this is a ritual and somewhat of a good luck charm. You've been doing it for years, and I started to get very nervous that it would, it would work against you. First off, why did you decide not to get the haircut this time?
You know what? Since I left Scotland, and in Scotland I had a really good barber there, and she'd always done a great job. And I don't know, I've just not felt like I've found that next barber to do it. And like for that, it was like part of my ritual before I would go away. I would go see her and I would get it done. And I just kind of have fell away from it, unless, of course, like your good self wants to come and take me for a haircut and it's kind of like a thing, then I would enjoy that. But yeah, and right now I'm like in between growing it out and never shaving it again.
Really? That's it? It's over? I love this ritual.
Yeah, I know, because like now when I've saw the pictures from the fight, I'm like, I look weird.
Wait, but why do you not want to shave it ever again then?
I don't, just like I said, I've never found someone that's really done a great job that I'm proud of and that I really look forward to going back to. So I've just never found that the barber.
Okay.
The barber, the one.
Well, I'm going to work on this for you because I feel like this is a ritual that needs to remain. But you did win. You did look very good in the fight. So maybe there is something to that. Maybe it's good to switch things up. You also, there was a lot of changes because you were wearing the rash guard. But from what I understand, you were doing this to pay respects to the culture, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like anyone that's seen me, I'm covered in tattoos, and I just wanted to kind of pay my respects. And yeah, I done it for the fight and for the open workouts. Obviously, we can't wear long leggings, and although, man, it would have been hot in the fight wearing leggings. But I just wanted to show my respect a little bit.
Okay. How long into the fight did you regret that decision?
So we actually asked the referee, the commission before. We were like, because I was feeling it in the back, even though like everyone done a great job and the AC was tremendous, but you just can't, like that heat is just, it's out of control. And we actually asked if there was any chance I could take it if I got really hot, or if I really wanted to take it off, could I take it off in between rounds? But the minute in between rounds go really fast, and now when I think about it, man, I don't even think we would have had time. And I just felt it at the very end of the fight, like, I'm overheating here.
Have you ever fought in conditions like that before?
Yeah, I've fought in Thailand twice in an open arena, and obviously they have a hot climate as well.
And so,
to be honest,
yes,
in Muay Thai, like they're soaking you with water in between rounds, and you don't know, because I was comparing the two fights, and in Thailand, like they drench you in water, and it's like ice cold water. So I really felt like that was the difference.
Right, because this time you couldn't do that, right?
Yeah, but I like being hot. It's good for bodies, especially what we're doing, to be hot and I do like in training, like I always, even in Scotland, I used to always wear a hoodie and want my body to feel that warmth. But yeah, there's a difference between feeling warmth and being in an oven.
Right. Yes. And by the way, I love the post-fight interview afterwards where you said that you were really hot and not in the good-looking kind of way, making light of the whole situation. It was sort of the female version of the Derek Lewis infamous post-fight interview. I don't know were you trying to pay homage to Derek Lewis, or was that just how you were feeling in the moment?
I was feeling that in the moment. I would have said my balls are hot, to get that kind of little Scottish word in there, but I don't know how people would take that, yeah.
Let's say the UFC asked you to fight in Abu Dhabi again next year, considering those conditions. Would you do it again, or do you feel like that was too much?
Oh, I would do it without a doubt. I love the whole fight week and the experience there, and that stadium is like, to think that they've built that for us. I was really, really proud to be part of that whole experience, and I would do it again in a second.
So I know you were frustrated with the Caitlin Chookagian fight. This time around, like, do you feel like you were in a fight? Were you happy with what Andrea brought to the table? It felt like a fun fight. It felt like you were engaged the whole time. It felt almost like a Muay Thai fight with a few takedowns sprinkled throughout. Did you like the fight better?
Yeah, I love those kind of fights. And, like, that's just the fighter I am. I like going in with someone that wants to knock me out or stand there and trade with me. And I just feel like even right now, I feel like I've been in a fight. After the Caitlin fight, I did not feel like I had been in a fight. And I just feel like, I don't know, call me crazy. I just love those kind of fights.
Was there any doubt in your mind that you didn't win the fight? It was a close one. It was tough to score. Full disclosure, I scored it for you 29-28, but it was tough, and one of the judges gave it to her. What did you think before they announced it?
I was nervous, but, I had done what I came and I done what I could, and I felt like I pushed it more, and I know I was a bit gutted that I had left up to the judges again, so I was just kind of being hard on myself. And also I knew it was a close fight, so yeah, I was a bit nervous, but relieved as soon as I heard my name.
So afterwards, especially in your weight class, there aren't a lot of contenders. You mentioned getting a big fight, or even Valentina Shevchenko. Do you really feel like you are ready for Valentina Shevchenko now?
Yeah, and I feel like I've proved it. Like, I'm fighting these girls at the top five. Right now, I'm tied with her for the most wins in the flyweight division. I've got the most significant strikes right now, and I just feel like I'm exciting, and I always bring it, and I look forward to those kind of fights, and I want to challenge myself, and I feel like I've been doing this for a very long time. My career has been very up and down, but it's brought me to this moment, and I'm the best I've ever been in my career, and I've found where I'm supposed to be, and it couldn't happen at a better time.
Last week when we spoke, you were talking about, I'm not thinking of the title. That was a mistake going into the Chookagian fight. Like, you said all the right things, but now that the fight is over, in reality, were you really not thinking about the implications and the title shot? Like, were you really able to successfully block that all out?
I'm always honest with you, Ariel.
Okay. No, I'm not implying, but sometimes fighters will say something.
Yeah.
I'm certainly not implying that you were lying.
Yeah, it was the best camp, and then it turns out they were injured and all that.
Yes.
No, honestly, like for that camp, there was so much noise, and for even when I went to media day, I was feeling drained from that, because it was so, the same questions came up again and stuff.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I just made it a fact of myself in my mind not to think about that, and she was even there, so sort of fight week and stuff. So it's always going to be in the back of your mind, but it's just noticing those thoughts and feelings and dealing with them and then just sliding them aside. Because, I had a very important, tough fight on Saturday to worry about, and I just kept on reminding myself of that.
By the way, can I ask you probably the most important question that I could ask you? Why on Twitter are you Dr. Neville, but on Instagram you're Bad Mofo Jojo?
Because when I went into the Ultimate Fighter house, they told me I couldn't have Bad Mofo Jojo on the, was it Fox that we were on? Back then? Yeah. So I had to change back then I don't even know if I had Instagram, but the main thing that I was using was Twitter, and the main thing that they needed was Twitter, and I had to change my name.
But now that that's no longer an issue, why not align them and make them the same name?
Yeah, we actually discussed that, me and Danny, this week, and we're going to make that happen. But I kind of like the Dr. Neville. But
it is good.
Yeah.
It is good, yes. Maybe I'm just...
We'll look into that.
Danny's going to be so mad because he wanted you to talk about the T-shirt you were wearing last week. He was bothering me all week about this. But guess what? We can't see you, so now I can't ask you about the T-shirt. He's going to be heartbroken.
Yeah, and let's just tell him that I've got that on right now.
Yes, let's. And so
I don't.
I noticed that in the brief moment that you were on before. And so in conclusion, Joanne, let's just say it right now. No one wants to fight Valentina. Everyone's afraid of her. No one wants this fight. You want the fight. You're going to be the one to unseat her. You're going to be the one to give her her first loss at 125. Is that accurate or inaccurate?
Yeah, and I know for a fact she wants to fight before the end of the year. So we've got Shikugan and Maya tied up for November. They're fighting in November, and Jessica is out injured. Obviously, she's coming off a loss, and Les Camus just lost to her. So right now that leaves me. So I'm ready, and I'm actually on my way to the gym after I speak to you, and we're just going to get straight back at it and be ready.
All right. I love it. Sign me up. Congratulations, Joanne. Great performance, great win. Very happy for you. Despite all the changes, you proved that you don't need to be superstitious, that it's all about what you do in there. So congrats. Well done to you. And thank you again for doing this. Sorry about the tech issues at the top.
Yeah, I'm sorry if it was my fault or whatever.
No worries.
Yeah. Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. We'll talk to you soon. There she is, Joanne Calderwood, a.k.a. Dr. Neville, a.k.a. Bad Mofo Jojo. So that was the feature prelim. But, of course, main event, biggest story of the week. Khabib Nurmagomedov returns after an 11-month layoff, defeats Dustin Poirier. Who is the man he was shouting at afterwards? Well, of course, he was shouting at his dad, who was in his corner for the first time, but he was also shouting out the king of San Jose, Mr. Javier Mendez, who is back from Abu Dhabi and joining us right now. Javier, how are you? Congratulations on the win.
I'm doing good, Ariel. How are you? Thanks.
Are you tired?
Yeah, I'm super tired.
Well, you look tired, but I'm sure the jet lag and all that is a little more, it's easier to digest coming off a win and a experience like that. Could I ask you, even before the fight, like, what is it like being with Khabib in the Middle East, preparing for a fight of that magnitude? Like, he came across as a megastar just watching, on television. What is it like being by his side throughout that whole process?
Well, I've never experienced being pampered to as much as we were on this fight. Man, everywhere he went, he had undercover police officers following him everywhere. He's being catered to in every way. But the thing about him is that it didn't change anything of who he is or what he's all about. I mean, he had all those luxuries, but like I did a little Instagram post that he may be having the luxuries of a Ferrari type, but he's still a Toyota, and it's all true.
It's amazing to see how popular he is. And I know you spent some time with him in Dagestan. Is it possible that he's more popular in the Middle East than he is back home, or is that a little bit of a stretch right now?
That's a little bit of a stretch.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
He's a king back in Dagestan, right?
He's the king of actually Russia.
Right.
Actually Russia. He's really very immensely popular everywhere, but I don't think he's more popular than he is at home.
Okay.
I myself, was shocked at how popular I am in Russia. It's crazy.
Is it a little surreal for you? Like you see this guy, he comes to your gym, doesn't speak English, and now all these years later, like that he's turned, like I think he's the second most famous Muslim athlete in the world, very close to a soccer player named Mo Salah. And at some point he might like he's on a different stratosphere. We have seen very few fighters reach the level of fame that he's at. Is this kind of crazy for you? Did you expect this?
Yeah, I did. I actually did. I was actually prepping him a while back that, like with Muhammad Ali, why I consider Muhammad Ali the greatest of all time is not just because of what he did inside, but it's what he did outside that to me, I consider Muhammad Ali the greatest boxer of all time. Not because of the ring accomplishments, but because how he was as a person outside. And so I kind of thought Habib was potentially in line to go that route too, because of the immense popularity of being a Muslim fighter and being one of the few and only ones that are out there.
So there were some concerns about the weight cut. Could you tell us how did it go in the end?
There was never any concerns about the weight cuts. I don't know where the hell that came from. All from maybe previous things. I mean,
Okay.
I read some what Chael Sonnen was talking about all these media obligations and et cetera, et cetera. But man, Habib's training every day. And actually, this was the first time that I actually was involved through the whole weight cut and the whole process. Man, I didn't even know how much this guy works out. He works out twice a day. He was working out twice a day. We were working out on Friday. We worked out on the weight cut. Then we worked out at night, after the weight cut. And then we worked out in the morning before the fight. It's like, I've never experienced that before. You used to call me all the time and ask me, how's the weight cut? I go, I don't know. I'm not even there.
I
And
know.
this time, Habib made me show up.
Oh,
He
really?
wanted me to experience what the weight cut was all about. And here he is eating berries. Well, I did an Instagram post, him eating berries while he's doing his weight cut, and no, he had no problem with it. But I think in the past, I think he had problems with it. But not this time around. No, not at all.
Considering how much has changed in his life and the fame and the fact that this whole event was built around him, deep down inside, were there any concerns from your perspective about, you've been around the fight game, you become super famous, maybe you don't have that killer instinct anymore, you don't have that desire to work. I mean, clearly he was working really hard, but was there any part of you who's like, okay, hopefully this doesn't go to our head, we're still as focused as ever, even before we were a champion? Were you worried about that at all?
No, I wasn't worried about that at all because he was training harder than ever. But when we were in the dressing room, right, getting ready to go, I was noticing why the heck is he taking his damn time? I go, Habib, man, we got to get going. Go, no, coach, just let me watch. Let me watch this fight. I go, okay, but we got to get warmed up, and the commission guys are out there. Hey, God, we got to get them gloved up, and et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, what the hell? This is something different. And I didn't realize till after is that he was so concerned about his teammates, being that he wanted them to win. All the other Russian fighters didn't win, so it was really bothering him. So that was something different, and I didn't realize till after when he did the interview, the press conference, that he said that he doesn't want to fight when any of his teammates are on the same card because it bothers him too much.
Yeah, we've heard that from other fighters before, but he looked phenomenal. That first round was amazing. I thought it was a 10-8 round. Beginning of the second, on the feet, you thought, okay, maybe for a moment Dustin could, catch him, throw a Hail Mary. Were you at all concerned in the beginning of the second round?
Slightly, yeah, because he did hit him and his head moved, but the way he was moving, his head real jerking pretty far out, and Dustin wasn't really landing super clean anymore. I wasn't concerned. It's just a matter of trying to get him to settle down. And, the biggest issue for me is I was always saying father's plan. And I just wanted him to stick to the wrestling because a lot of people, they always underestimate how good his stand-up is, and they still do. They still underestimate his stand-up. But one thing they don't underestimate is his ground.
Mm.
But I like the easier route, and I don't want him standing with people when I know he's so much superior on the ground. But I was concerned a little bit because there was a couple of shots that landed, and Dustin's a great fighter, and we knew that, we knew that going into it, that we had to respect him and give him the full due respect that he deserved. So we trained for him specifically to fight a great fighter, and that's what Habib did.
What was going through your mind in the third round when he was in that guillotine choke?
I was laughing in my mind. I was going, he's going to blow his arms out. He ain't going to get nothing. Look, I've seen him in my gym with one of my Division I wrestlers, Kyle Crutchmer. he had him in a choke that I thought, oh shit. I go, I'm gonna see him tap for the first time ever. I was about to take my camera out to film it, to go, ha, sucker, you said you never tapped. Here you are, you're tapping. And God damn it, he didn't tap. He just relaxed. He relaxed. And next thing you know, Kyle, he got out of the hold. I don't know how the hell he does it. I've never seen him tap. And the guillotine, I go, no one was concerned. None of us were concerned. We knew he wasn't going to get out. You know, if there was be any concern, would be maybe if we had an unprofessional ref, they might have said, oh, he's done, you know, and
Right.
obviously watched his arms. There's no way he was done.
Shortly thereafter, he wins the fight. What a great scene. Everyone's so happy. He jumps over the cage. Were you worried about at all, or did you know he was going to do that?
No, I was too busy hugging his dad.
Oh, okay. And
we were like hugging each other, like very happy that, you know, the first time I got to train with a great man like him and a great coach, you know, and so I was hugging him. I didn't see anything. I was just giving him a hug.
a lot was made of the fact that his dad was in his corner for the first time. Did you sense a different Khabib because his dad was there?
Yes, there was a little bit more motivation. There was a little bit more pressure on him to perform in front of his dad. Yes, for sure, absolutely. And you know, after the fight, he said, "Coach, please, next time, no more father plan. Just let me fight, please."
Oh, really?
I said, "Well, we'll see," you know, because I always want him to stick to his strengths, and that's what he got from his father. And though he's a hell of a striker now, I still prefer the easier route.
So for you, I mean, like, you know how much his dad means to him. A lot has been made of this, and it seems very sincere and genuine. When he calls his dad over and you guys are standing there together, and he's publicly giving you a shout out, telling you to speak, like, this doesn't happen often. For someone who's been in the fight game for so long, and sometimes, you know, it could be a thankless job. I know you guys are in the back. Maybe you get blamed for a loss. You don't get credit for a victory. What are those moments like? You're there with his dad and him, the most famous man in this region. What is that like for you?
Well, it was kind of surreal, to be honest with you, because I didn't expect that, you know, and I should have expected him, because normally fighters, when they're out there after a victory, they forget about all those things, you know, and he didn't. He didn't forget anybody, and he wanted to bring him out. And when he called my name, I wasn't expecting it, and my only thought was his dad. I was almost in tears just thinking about his dad being there. That to me, that's all I was thinking about. I was very happy for his father, because, man, come on, his father trained him from as a child, and here's this great coach letting him come to the United States to train with me, and I'm getting a lot of the credit that his father should be getting also, you know. And for me, it just, you know, it was a great honor, and to have him finally be there to witness his son, you know, do the greatness that he's been doing. You know, it's kind of teary for me.
Did you guys get the hamburgers and the steak and all that afterwards?
No, I had to leave, man. I had to shoot. As soon as I got out of there, I got up 4 o'clock, and then I had to get up 5 o'clock to go back to Dubai to get to the airport. So I only had 1 hour, like, to try to shut my eyes. And no, he got the hamburgers on his Instagram. They showed they went to the Prince's Palace in Dubai, the compound.
Wow.
He has over, and they cooked them a whole bunch of hamburgers and everything. I missed all of that.
You didn't want to stick around?
Hell yeah, I wanted to stick around.
So why didn't you?
Well, my wife didn't want to stick around. She wanted to come home, so I had to go with the boss.
Fair enough. Yep. A happy wife, happy life. I respect that greatly. And so now the big question is, what is next for Khabib? I feel like everyone with a sane mind thinks it should be Tony Ferguson. If it were up to you, who would be next for Khabib Nurmagomedov?
If it was up to me, Tony Ferguson. He deserves it. You know, he's always deserved it. But, you know, as you know, it's not up to me, and sometimes it's not up to Tony, you know, and sometimes it's not up to Khabib. You know, who it is always up to is the UFC, because they're the ones that are offering the individual that they want to fight for the title, and you know, it's a business, you know, and this is not a true sport. It's a business where, you know, you give the fans what they want. So what the fans want is always, obviously, right, it's what makes the most money. That's what the fans want. So we'll see what happens. But Dana has stated that Tony's next, and if they can't work out the deal, then they'll go with Conor. But, you know, who's to say Khabib's going to want Conor? Khabib stated many a times that Conor has to do something before he even wants him. And I shouldn't even talk about Conor because he's not really in the picture.
Okay, so who do you think will end up being Khabib's next opponent? Given the landscape, you think it will be Tony?
Tony, I hope so.
Yeah.
He deserves it. He's done everything he needed to do. He's had unfortunate situations happen to him, and he deserves the shot. I don't think anybody deserves it above him. I really don't. That's just my opinion.
Is there any chance Khabib fights again in December before the year is out?
Anything's possible. I mean, he said that he wanted to take a few days and enjoy his hamburgers and whatnot before he makes a decision. So anything's possible. What is 100% possible is he'll be fighting, I believe, before February of next year for sure.
Okay. Why is that?
Because he wants to be active, he doesn't want to just rest and fight once a year. He wants to fight 2 or 3 times a year.
And I wasn't going to ask you about it, but I'm just curious, like, he has said it from your perspective, like when he says, like, I won't even entertain this Conor fight, he has to do it. He means that, right? Like, this is something 100%. That he feels strongly about.
Strongly about it. And there's no love lost between those two.
Right.
The bridge is broken, and I don't know if it'll ever be repaired, to be honest with you. And hey, it is what it is.
Is there a part of you that almost doesn't want to go through all that again? Like, it would be nice, the build up to this fight was nice, right? And the aftermath was nice with the T-shirts and the charity and all that. Like, it gets really ugly when those two are together, right?
Yeah, that part I really loved. I loved Dustin's, sportsmanship and, true fighter, the way he acted himself, and Khabib really respects him a lot. As a matter of fact, he respects him so much that at the back, the Reebok wanted the T-shirt that they gave that he got from Dustin, because after the fight they get one thing signed. Khabib wouldn't give the shirt. He would not give the shirt. So instead he gives signed gloves, and and I know those gloves are worth a hell of a lot more than the shirt, but that shirt meant more to him than the gloves, and he gladly gave away the gloves.
Wow.
He would not give away that shirt. He goes, no, I'm not giving the shirt. And because normally they go after the lesser value, right? But
right.
Khabib gave the higher value because there's no way in hell he was going to give the shirt he got from Dustin, because it meant so much for him to have received that from Dustin. To him, it was an honor.
Wow.
And he wasn't going to no money was going to change that.
That is amazing. Just want to ask you 2 more things before I let you go. We're going to have your guy Cain Velasquez in studio in a few minutes. He's now a luchador. Do you think we'll ever see Cain fight again? Do you want to see him fight again, given the success that he's had thus far in wrestling?
Well, it's up to Cain. I mean, he's able to do whatever he wants, but I love the fact that he's taking the luchador like serious and really practicing it. And his introduction to it, he looked like a luchador. He didn't look like an MMA guy, and I was very happy about that. I made a speech about that in the class, that he made me very proud to go out there and practice the skill instead of being an MMA guy trying luchador. He went as a luchador, being a luchador, and that was impressive.
Yeah, it's amazing what he's done. I know he's returning this Sunday, Madison Square Garden, so that is very cool. And finally, do you want to see Daniel Cormier fight again?
I didn't want to see him fight this last fight, because of the fact that he didn't need to. He didn't need the money. He can move on with the entertainment world, the broadcasting, and everything else that he's been doing. So obviously he's such a competitor that I don't see him letting it go. I really don't. I somehow or another, I don't know when, he's the decision maker there, but I do see him not letting it go and not finishing like that, because he's much better than he showed. And all props to Stipe, who basically was able to adjust. Only great fighters can do that, and Stipe proved he's a great fighter.
Have you talked to him recently, or are you giving him his space?
I've been talking to him here and there. I'm giving him his space because of the tragedy of losing his father. Nobody truly knows how that feels unless it happens to you. And just because you handle it better doesn't mean that they handle it as well as you, So you always have to give them their space and not even discuss anything related to fighting, because that's the last thing on their mind,
Right.
And I've never discussed what he wants to do next. No, all I've done is, I love the guy and I just care about him as a person. I just called to see how you doing, how you feeling, I don't care about the fighting.
Right. Actually, I have one more. Of everything that you experienced with Khabib, because you guys did a training camp prior to this were you in Dubai prior to going to Abu Dhabi?
Yeah, we were at the Nas Training Center, the Princess Center, the compound. Oh my God. What you want to talk about world-class facilities. I couldn't believe how great that place was.
Really?
And then we went to the Prince of Abu Dhabi. We went at his house.
Wow.
Had a huge place there, and they treated us like royalty over there. We had great food after training, before training, after training. It was like the red carpet treatment, man.
I can't imagine now going back. Not to say that your gym in San Jose is like the slums, but like you said, you were treated like royalty over there. I'm just wondering, is there an experience, a moment, an interaction that you'll always like? This was a very unique thing, having Khabib fight in the Middle East in front of all those people, being treated the way like this isn't a common thing in our sport. Is there something that's always going to stick with you, from this experience?
Yes, the treatment and the way Ahmed, who's the prince's right hand guy, took to me and he brought me aside. He took me to go see all the training center where the soccer fields, underground locker rooms are at, and where they have Cristiano is a locker and his name's out there, and then the prince's secret quarters and the whole bit. It was pretty awesome.
Wow.
It was an experience, man. That place is a sight to see. Obviously, nobody can go there because it's very private, but
Yeah.
it's a beautiful state of the art facility, man.
Amazing. What an experience. What a performance. What a victory. I think he is the most dominant fighter in the history of the sport, and I think that was on display on Saturday in Abu Dhabi. Congratulations to you and the team, Javier. Thank you for doing this. I know you're tired, but I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me again, Ariel. We'll
All
talk
right.
to you soon.
Yes, sir.
All right,
There
bye.
he is, the head coach over at American Kickboxing Academy, the great Javier Mendez joining us. All right. So I talked about at the top of the show how there was all kinds of drama leading up to the making of the Jorge Masvidal versus Nate Diaz fight. Of course, one of the main figures in that story, Colby Covington. Let's turn to him now and find out what happened from his perspective, why that fight is not happening between him and Kamaru Usman at Madison Square Garden. Colby, how are you?
I'm doing great, Ariel. It's a pleasure and a true honor to talk to you again.
Oh, well, thank you, Colby. I appreciate that. So, what a week! What an interesting week. I'll ask a very simple question: like, what happened? Can you tell us your side of the story? Why aren't you fighting at Madison Square Garden?
Yeah, my side of the story is, I'm ready to fight. I was ready to fight, but the UFC came to me with a basic challenger's offer, and I'm a champion, and there was no negotiation. They came and ran at me, and they said, "Here, take this or leave it, and we'll pass it on to the next person." That's not fair negotiating, and that's not right. So I'm not just going to take the first offer that you offer me. We need to meet in the middle. There's more that's to be done, but also I'm the A side, and you can't even get the B side done with Usman. So why are we even rushing if you can't get the B side done? Usman didn't want to fight anybody. He didn't want to fight me. He didn't want to fight my ex best friend George. He didn't want to fight Leon Scott. So the problem is Usman. The problem has nothing to do with me.
So it seemed like initially everyone was blaming you. Did you notice that? Like, it seemed like everyone just kind of decided that you were the one messing this up. Did that bother you?
No, it didn't bother me. It's whatever. Everybody knows I have the most haters. Everybody knows what happened when I walked in the pay-per-view last time in LA. 18,000 fans got on their feet, booing, screaming, this and that. I stole the show and I wasn't even on the Jumbotron. So, I expect to get the grunt of the blame every time and people to blame me for things that aren't my problems and really just I didn't do it. So, I expect that. It comes with the territory, Ariel.
My understanding was after it seemed like they couldn't come to a deal with you, they then moved to Masvidal versus Usman. And that's, and then they couldn't get a deal done with Usman. Masvidal was in all that stuff. And that's when the tweets started to come. Were you annoyed that they were just moving on, like that they couldn't, figure out how to get this fight, that you might be losing your title shot again? Now it seems like this could be a blessing in disguise, and we'll get to that in a second. But in the moment, it seemed like they were almost going to give him another title fight.
Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating. Everybody knows there's only one fight to make, the title unification fight between me and Marty Fake Newsman. So it was very frustrating when they were moving to somebody that's, 2-2 and a 50-50 journeyman in the division. So it didn't really make sense. I got a belt. He's got a belt. He's got the Power Ranger belt. I got the most prestigious belt, America's belt, Donald Trump's belt, the people's belt, and this belt needs to get unified with that Power Ranger #1 contender belt Marty Fake Newsman has. So, yeah, I was a little agitated by that.
How far apart were you guys?
Not that far, really. I mean, they gave me one offer and they said take it or leave it, and that's not fair negotiating. I wasn't asking for anything unreasonable, Ariel. I was just asking for what I deserved and what I earned. I mean, I put my life on the line for this company. What that post-fight promo in Brazil, I accepted to fight for this title in Brazil again after I had death threats and favelas wanting my head out in Brazil. And I still was willing to go put my life on line for this company. And I continue to do it time and time again, go to their shows, sell their shows, get people excited about the UFC brand, branching out, giving my time and my money out of pocket to go visit the service and the members that, serve our country in the military. So, UFC is just, they're playing a game that's not fair. And really, I'm just standing up for all the fighters. Look at what I've done in this sport. I've went to the White House. I have a relationship with the first family and the Trumps. I've won every fight I've won. I have a world title, and they still want to treat me like crap. They still want to not give me any room to negotiate and work. And it's not fair. The company's rolling in money, 30% growth last month, and we all know the ESPN deal. They're making so much money. So, they need to make this right.
So before we got to the Masvidal-Diaz fight being made, you sent out a tweet towards Jorge Masvidal, which a lot of people thought was, part of the act, a work, etc. You just referred to Masvidal as your ex-best friend. What's the state of your relationship with Jorge Masvidal?
Yeah, the state of my relationship with Jorge Masvidal is, he's the type of guy that when you're doing something for him, yeah, he'll use you. But as long as you're doing better than him and you're not helping him out anymore, then he doesn't care about you. And that's exactly what happened, because when he got beat up by Damian Maia, and then I went in there and I completely destroyed Damian Maia in his home country, that's when the relationship started to get a little bit different, and he started to act different towards me like a competitor. And I know it's not the MAGA stuff that makes him mad, Ariel, because he's a big Donald Trump fan himself.
How do you know that?
I know that because I've seen the support that he's put in the past for him. And, he loves the MAGA stuff. And he's always told me, like, he respected that, I was taking the Trump side. And even though people were going to hate me, but he loved what Donald Trump doing. And he would always make fun of Hillary.
Okay, and so when did things really deteriorate between you and Masvidal? Because for the longest time, and even not that long ago, we thought you guys were boys. I think you even put out a tweet in support of him post Askren fight, right?
Yeah, it was one thing after another. It was the Damian Maia thing. He started to get bitter and jealous. And then as soon as I won the world title, like, I had him in my corner for that fight, and he never even showed up that week to help me. Like, he didn't show up till one fight before my fight to help warm up with me. And I knew he was making it all about himself, and he wasn't truly happy for me and my success. All he cares about is himself. That's all Jorge is a guy that cares for himself. He doesn't care for others, and he doesn't care for anybody unless they can do something for him. And I'm not that guy. I'm not going to always just do stuff for you and then be taken for granted. So, now I passed him up. I'm making more money than him. I'm banging harder chicks than him. I'm doing better in life, and he's just a jealous little bitch.
Did you guys have an altercation at UFC 241? Some fans caught you guys interacting on camera, and it seemed like security had to break you up.
Yeah. Once again, he was jealous. He was 5 rows back, and he wanted to sit with the welterweight king, Colby Covington, in the front row because he didn't have the front row access. So he was scooting up, trying to get to the front row. He ended up getting stationed around to the second or third row, and he had my 6, and he was just talking to me from my 6, and that was that.
Okay, so is the relationship over between you guys? Like, yeah, you're sort of in the same orbit. At some point, it seems like you might even fight, right? For the longest time, it seemed like you didn't want to fight, but now, like, it seems like it's not in a good place and maybe can't be repaired. Would that be accurate?
I think the accurate saying, Ariel, would be to say that I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make money.
Fair enough. To that point, let me just ask, Dustin Poirier was asked about the situation, and he said that he won't sell out like you sold out. Was asked about fighting Masvidal down the line. Did you hear his comments? I think you guys have trained together in the past. What did you make of them?
Yeah, Ariel, I thought they were very distasteful. I'm not a sellout. I bought in, and he tapped out, and that's what happened. I had to give the people, there's a reason they call me the people's champ. I had to give the people America's pick of the week, Ariel. I had to give them my honest opinion. I thought this was land of the free, home of the brave, land of opportunity, freedom of speech. Sorry, I can't have an opinion. Oh, we don't have the same opinion, and I wanted to help the people out, and I just honestly knew that Khabib was a better fighter. he thought Robbie Lawler was a better fighter. He picked Robbie to beat me. Did I get my feelings hurt? No, I went out there and beat him. So Dustin should stop making excuses and trying to blame me for his loss. Sorry, you suck. You're not the best fighter in the world. There can only be one best fighter in the world. I'm sorry that I'm that guy.
So you think he was mad because you picked against him before this fight, nothing else?
Yeah, 100%. That's the only reason, because I picked against him, and it's just, I don't know why he's acting like a childish little kid. He should get a sponsor from Kleenex with that Emmy award-winning act in the post-fight press conference, crying, "Oh, my dream, blah blah blah." So, me and Dustin, we haven't trained together in a long time, at least a year or two, and we haven't been friends in the gym. Yeah, he trains at the same team, American Top Team, and I'm thankful for this gym. I'm thankful for Dan Lambert and everything he does for us. But everybody knows this is an individual sport. Everybody knows we're independent contractors. So I'm out to get mine. And just like I said before, I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make money.
And so in the end, they book Masvidal Diaz, Madison Square Garden, no title on the line. Dana White says they will not book a title fight on that card. What was your reaction when you found out what they went with?
My reaction was like, oh, they want to make a BMF title. It's really the JMF title, the Journey Mother Effing title. And that's that. They're both 50-50 in the last couple of years. What's Nate Diaz? 1-1 in the last 3 years? How does that make you a BMF? You got destroyed by Dong Hum Kim. You got absolutely obliterated by Ralphie Dos Nachos. These are two guys that couldn't even last one round with me, Ariel. How does that make him the BMF? I'm the BMF. I'm the best ever. And George, 2-2 in his last 4 fights. 5-5 in his last 10 fights. That sounds like a journeyman to me. Journeyman mother effing title, JMF title in Madison Square Garden. It ain't gonna sell anything. It ain't gonna sell. Nope, those guys don't sell. They're not gonna be putting the load on their back like I would do for New York, and they ain't gonna be bringing the Trumps front row like I would have bring. So, it's gonna be another shit show.
Does it bother you that you will not be fighting in Madison Square Garden, considering all the things you had planned and the magnitude of the event and the stage? Are you upset?
Yeah, I'm not upset because you know what, Ariel? There's a better opportunity coming up, and that's in D.C. on December 7th on a bigger platform, on the ESPN platform. Pay-per-view is a dead model. It's, that well's dried up. So, I'd rather go to D.C., 10 blocks down the street from the White House, the Trumps. It's an easier commute for them. And let's be honest, ESPN is the home of the best MMA journalists of all time. And no, I'm not talking about that bum Brett Okamoto. I'm talking about my man, Ariel Helwani.
Well, thank you. I disagree with what you said about Brett, but I appreciate the shout out. December 7th, you say. Washington, that's an ESPN card. That's not a pay-per-view card, as you noted. This seems like a good idea. In fact, I don't know if you read my article today. I threw out the idea, so perhaps we think alike in this regard. Do you think there's a chance? Are you foreshadowing? Are you trying to tell us something? Is this being discussed as we speak?
Well, for one, great minds think alike, Ariel. So I'm glad we're on the same page. And it only makes sense. ESPN's a bigger platform, and pay-per-view is not a big enough platform for yours truly, Colby Chaos Covington. I want to make the welterweight division great again, and I want to do it where the most amount of eyes and most viewers, and that's going to be on ESPN, millions of households worldwide. So, it's an easier commute for the Trumps, right down the street. It's the nation's capital, the brightest city in the world. I mean, come on. It only makes sense. Put Colby Chaos Covington versus Marty Fake Newsman, the Nebraska Nightmare versus the American Dream. And let's get it going. Let me unify my title and move on to the next order of business. Beating up my ex-best friend or that journeyman Stockton soy boy. I got MAGA bombs. He's got Stockton slaps. Let's do this.
So do you feel like it's almost a blessing in disguise that in the end they went with Masvidal Diaz because now Usman is still, he's still available, and perhaps do you feel like whatever issues you guys had in the negotiations, now we could press the reset and get back to the table? Has that even happened yet after the Diaz-Masvidal fight was made?
I'm open for business, man. They know how to get in touch with my people. So let the UFC get in touch with my people and let's do this. I'm here to do business, and I do good business. No one does better business than me right now, Ariel. I'm working hard every single day, 24/7, 365, put my life on the line, undefeated, undisputed. Everybody knows what I bring to the table. You know, I'm going to be bringing the biggest show to town every time I come to a town near you with the Trumps involved. And you know, let's do this. Let's stop, you know, playing these pity games, man. This you know, dodgeball type game. You know, it's ridiculous, man. Let's cut the games and let's get to serious business.
We're approaching almost 2 years of this drama, like where you're so close to getting a title shot and something seems to happen. Are you afraid that at some point you will just never get this title shot?
I already got a title, Ariel. What does a title shot mean when I already have a title and I have a belt and I defended it? I won the title and then I just defended my title last fight against Ruthless Robbie Lawler, the scariest guy in the division. And I completely destroyed him, setting a UFC record for strikes, which no one's ever going to break that record. I guarantee that. That's a fact. I mean, bringing the first family front row, getting a call from the president of the United States after the fight. I mean, those are all firsts, and I'm doing it every single time. So wait till my next fight. I'm going to break new history and make new records. So, you know, I'm not scared about getting a title shot. You know, I got things going on in my personal life now. I got a big multi-six-figure contract coming, new endorsement deal with a big company that I can't release yet, but pretty much it's going to make me enough money outside the octagon that I don't have to fight inside the octagon. So unless the UFC comes at me right, I'm going to be doing business and just getting better every single day. I love my craft, and I love improving and evolving as a martial artist at the greatest gym in the world, American Top Team.
By the way, what did you refer to Leon Edwards as? Leon Scott?
Isn't that his name?
I wasn't sure if you just messed it up or if that was like a new name that you had from like some of the other guys. So let me ask, are you worried that they might go with Edwards to fight Usman now that they talked to him about the vacant title? Like, he was a part of this whole drama last week as well. Is there any concern there?
Edwards? Who's Edwards? Eve Edwards? Eve's Edwards? Did you say?
Leon, the guy who just beat RDA, San Antonio.
Oh, Leon Scott.
Yes.
Leon Scott.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I wish I did.
Yeah, I don't get it either. That's crazy. I'm not too worried. No. I don't think anybody knows who that guy is. Everybody knows. No one cares about Marty Fake Newsman. They only care about me. You know, everybody saw how electric I brought that arena in LA. You know, everybody saw how electric I made the crowd in Newark, New Jersey last time I fought. Everybody knows when I come to town, it's going to be a show, and it's going to be the biggest show possible. So, you know, there's a price for that admission. You know, these tickets aren't cheap, but they're also not unfair. They're a reasonable price, and you need to match that price tag, or, you know, I got other things to do. I'm going to stand up for the fighters, and I'm going to stand up for what's right. I'm not going to keep letting people use me and abuse me and take advantage and then just throw me to the side. It's not going to happen. I'm going to stand up for what's right and what I believe in, Ariel, and that's going to be that.
And to the best of your knowledge, do you know if Usman has cleared up his negotiation issues with the UFC, or do you think he's in the same spot as you right now?
Fake Newsman, you mean?
Kamaru, yes, the champ.
Marty, the paper champ. Yeah. Hey, you know what? Ariel, I heard there was a little riff with him and his rap manager, Ali Abdel Sleaze.
What do you mean by rift?
I heard they weren't on the same page. I thought they run the UFC, they run the division, blah blah blah. Heard they're not on the same page, and their relationship, you know, is getting a little dicey.
All right, that's a good little tease there. We'll have to see how that plays out. I think it's a blessing in disguise. I know you wanted MSG. I know he wanted MSG, but the fact that they didn't end up booking him against someone else, and I love the DC idea. I think that would be phenomenal. It'd be a big stage. There's a lot of titles that need to be defended by the end of the year. There's no pay-per-view in January. I think it makes all the sense in the world. I hope that you guys are able to figure it out, because I feel like it's the title fight that has to be made. Let's figure this out.
Yeah, it's the only fight to be made. You know, you saw when he tried to give 30% on that ESPN desk after I beat Robbie Lawler and all the millions of views that it got. You saw what happened in the Palms Buffet line when, you know, he tried to attack me in front of innocent kids and pregnant ladies, you know, millions of views on YouTube. So, you know, this is a fight a long time in the making, American Top Team versus Black Zillions. You know, we have a real hatred for each other. He's a D2 scrub. I'm a D1 all-star. So, you know, this fight has many angles. He's the Nebraskan scrub, and I'm the American dream. So any other fight does not make sense, and it's ludicrous, and the UFC needs to make this right.
we shall leave it at that. Colby, good luck with this. Good luck with the negotiations, and hopefully you guys figure it out and get a deal done, and we could see this fight before the end of the year. I appreciate the time as always.
Appreciate the time, Ariel. Much love, brother. Talk to you soon.
All right, there he is. Colby Chaos Covington, the one and only, hoping to get that title shot against one Kamaru Usman later on this year. I will remind you that later in the program, we will hopefully hear from Jorge Masvidal and try to get his reaction to some of the things that Colby Covington has said. But he's got massive fish to fry as well. He is fighting Nate Diaz on November 2nd at Madison Square Garden. What a big fight that is going to be. So there's a lot there. There's a lot going on. I maintain it all worked out. All's well that ends well. They got the fight that everyone wanted. They got Masvidal versus Diaz, BMF title, all that stuff. November 2nd, Madison Square Garden, the Mecca. First non-title fight headlining a pay-per-view since UFC 202, August of 2016. So that just goes to show how big of a deal this is. And it also goes to show how big of a draw Nate is and that he can draw without Conor McGregor. It also goes to show just how big of a draw Jorge Masvidal has become. I mean, if you would have told me 2 years ago that Nate Diaz versus Jorge Masvidal would be big enough to headline MSG, big enough to headline a pay-per-view without a title attached, big enough to headline any show, I don't know if I would have believed you. I don't know if I would have believed you a year ago. And now here we are. They're two of the hottest guys in the sport. They're on fire. They are so popular. It's crazy. I think my Instagram post with the picture of the fight being made is my most liked one ever. Now, I know that's not a big deal, but for me, it's kind of crazy. It's like 65,000 likes for a picture of these two guys. They are beloved. And so the fact that they got that done keeps Usman ready. Usman wants Covington. Covington wants Usman. That's the title fight. Got to make it happen. And then speaking of Leon Edwards, I think end of the year card, December 14th, big fight. Do Edwards versus Woodley. If Woodley's not ready, he's got the hand, have him fight, early next year. Edwards, Woodley, number one contender fight. Usman Covington title fight. We'll see what happens in the Nate versus Masvidal fight. They're kind of fighting in their own division right now anyway, so I don't really think they care about the belt because they're making a ton of money without the belt. So it doesn't really matter there. Let's see how this whole thing plays out. But I maintain, even though they didn't get MSG, I maintain it was a blessing in disguise. A crazy week as far as negotiations go, but in the end, I think the fans are very happy because they got the Masvidal-Diaz fight. It would have been a shame to kill two fights that need to happen, Masvidal-Diaz, Usman-Covington, to make one that had no heat behind it. Masvidal-Usman have no heat. Masvidal-Leon have heat. Masvidal-Covington have heat, but that fight has no heat. And by the way, I know you guys won't believe it because Colby is saying it, but trust me, I've been saying for the last few weeks, they are not friends anymore. They are not good buddies. They don't train together. Maybe now you'll start to believe. I suspect a lot of you will roll your eyes and say that it's all a work and all this stuff, and you know all. But I'm not selling wolf tickets here. Legit, not buddies anymore. They are not buddies anymore. That is 100% fact. So, a very interesting time at 170 pounds. Coming up next, maybe I should plug in my thing. There we go. Coming up next, we're going to be joined by Cris Cyborg, the newest member of the Bellator MMA squad. She was officially announced on Saturday. They made the big announcement, the press release announcement, if you will, last Tuesday while we were on the air. But then they brought her out during the show on Saturday at the SAP Center in San Jose. Big to-do, cool scene. It seems like I get the sense that the first fight is going to be against Julia Budd for the featherweight title. That's the fight that makes all the sense in the world. That's the fight that has to happen, quite frankly. I know sometimes we like to say that a champion, even if they're a former champion, whatever, they come to a new promotion, they should probably fight once, get their feet wet, prove that they've earned it, all that. I don't think that really applies here. She's the greatest featherweight champion of all time. She's arguably the greatest female fighter of all time. Just give her the title shot. It's the fight to make. And so in a matter of moments, we're going to be joined by her. She's actually in Colombia right now getting some stem cell treatment. So we'll connect with Cris. After that, we'll be joined by luchador Cain Velasquez in studio. That's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to talking to him. He's going to be competing on the AAA card Sunday at the Madison Square Garden Theater in New York City. Mexican Independence Day, so that's very exciting. After that, Tony Ferguson, Todd Duffee, Ryan Bader, and finally, we shall end with Gamebred Jorge Masvidal. For now, though, let us say hello to our next guest. The aforementioned Cris Cyborg joins us from Colombia. Cris, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you, Ariel. I'm really happy always coming to your show.
Yes, and wow, what amazing connection we have here. It looks like you're actually in studio. It's great. Thank you very much for doing this. Congratulations on the deal. Was it close with anyone else, Cris, or was Bellator the place that you always wanted to go?
No, I have a lot of offerings, but I feel like the Bellator we did the best offer for me. And I worked before with Scott Coker, and I know how this work with athletes. And I felt my heart, is the best place for me to go. Have the girls, 145 pounds, the number 10, top 10 girls, 145, my divisions all in the Bellator. I don't see like another different promotion it's supposed to be if Bellator.
I had said, right when it was clear that you were going to become a free agent, that you were going to be one of the most coveted free agents, if not the most coveted free agent of the past 10 years. I thought ONE and PFL and, of course, Bellator and Ryzen would all come after you. Did you end up talking to all those promotions, or at least your management?
Yes. We talked to all the promotions and see the best option.
Bellator is saying this is the most lucrative deal in women's MMA history. From your perspective, is that accurate?
Yes, I think it's the best offer in my career. I'm really happy. When I went to Bellator Saturday, I feel like in the contract, and then I'm there. I feel like they want to work together. It's nice. We are partner, real partner. This is the main thing.
Do you feel now like you have almost like a new lease on life? It's like a really brand new start for you, because let's be honest, the end of your time in the UFC was a little ugly. It was uncomfortable. Like, do you feel like a weight has been lifted off your shoulders? Do you feel happier now, in short?
No, I'm really happy, really happy. Saturday, I have good memories that place San Jose. 10 years ago, me and Scott Coker with Gina Carano did the history of my division. And I feel like I am born again. I'm excited. I'm training. I'm excited for step in the octagon again and do what I love to do. Have a fight anything outside. Just go over there and do what I love to do, fighting and get that belt. It's my goal. Be the only female fighter, hold the 4 world title belts, and the Bellator is going to be the next.
Yeah, it's amazing because the 10-year anniversary of that fight against Gina Carano was just last month, August 15th, I believe, 2009. Was that, correct me if I'm wrong, was that your first time back in the arena since?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Think I remember, yeah. It's amazing.
What was that like?
I really, all the fans would look at me and remember, and there's something cool. It's everybody, Cris, you're welcome to Bellator. We're really happy you're here. You wait till you so long coming back. I'm talking about the fans saying this for me. Everybody, I'm happy you're here. This makes me really happy. I made my night.
Do you have any regrets with how the relationship with the UFC ended?
I did my best. The goals in the UFC was doing my division, and I tried my best. I know UFC did build my division. They never signed all the girls 145. And I know me, don't know how to getting dirty, but the beginner, before I signed, he's already doing a lot of things like this. And they always then say we're gonna change it, the relationship are gonna getting better. He never getting better, But I still being professional. I still doing my job, but go to bed. I think this is no health, no healthy relationship. Keep in one place, welcome. The boss don't promote you the right way, And I think after that announced in Bellator, if you go my Twitter, then I'd call me, she's a shitter liar, and. He's not get it. I move on, I'm signed I have a new boss. Then we finish, you divorce, you keep your life, I keep my life. I'm really happy. And funny he say this about me because YouTube, if you check it out, his own mom say he's a shit, is a liar. If you call my mom, she's not gonna say this about me. And he's going online and say this about me, but I just have to laugh, he's not a happy guy, he's try to hurt people, but I'm happy, Donna.
It seemed like maybe the final straw was that video that came out, and you apologized for it afterwards. Can you tell us what happened there? with the subtitles. It seemed like it was edited to make him seem like he was saying something that he wasn't. What's your side of the story?
You know, the big deal, like in the video, he's really before I talked to him. If you see after he did the interview, he said, "Cris, I never said you scary Amanda Nunes." He said in my face, "This is I know my team not doing anything." He said, "Cris, I never said you afraid of Amanda Nunes." And the 1 minute before he's the interview, and they say, Cyborg, the fight not gonna happen because she's afraid of Amanda Nunes. And you know, he's liar face. He don't feel anything. He just lie. He don't care.
Are you?
And he's try move. He's try change, sweep. You know, because my team edit something in the video, but he still lie. He still lie in my face. He say, "I never said you're afraid, Amanda Nunes." This is no he did. This is he said to me. You know, he just tried to twist.
But you did apologize for that, right? About the video stuff.
You know, my team did a mistake, and I don't have afraid to say I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can say apologize when do something wrong. If my team did that, you know, I can say no, I'm sorry. It does not hurt me. It's good when people know we're doing a mistake. I'm sorry, but some people cannot handle. You know.
Right. And do you feel like that was the end? Like that's what, you know, because they just released you like abruptly right after that video came out.
You know, this is thank you God. This is I want to. You know, it's actually after I fought Felicia, before I knew it's my last fight. I knew it was my last fight.
You knew there was no chance.
Yes, no chance. Yeah, that fight, I feel my heart when I walk. I say it's my last fight. I ask for rematch. Then I say it's not gonna give me. Amanda said for me, wait 2 years, and after he say I don't want to be in Cyborg. I don't want to be with him. I don't want to renew for him. Because it's a lie. Everything's a lie. And I don't want to keep my relationship with him like this. We have to be real, you know. But we still can do Amanda Nunes, you know, fight. We still can do it. I talked to Scott about that. I know then make a champion against champion with Horizon. And I said, man, maybe we can do UFC, me against Amanda Nunes. And he said, Cris, you know, I'm in. If you'd like to do this, let's do that. And it just don't know, I'd have to call Scott and make this happen. Make the fight that people want to see. But I'm going to represent Bellator.
Is there a part of you that you think like in 30 years, you'll say like, I wish I got another crack at Amanda? Do you think it will bother you, or are you at peace with never fighting her again?
You know I did everything for this rematch happen. I know I talked to them. I asked, my team asked, but the money they're offering to for me, signing new deal with the dance, is not getting close to what Bellator offering for me. Because this, I want to see the free market. I see my value, and I see, you know, then no help with the fighters. Then, you know, growing the brand. They just think about them, and I feel Bellator work with me, and I don't feel my heart about this because, you know, I did everything. I asked for rematch, and they don't want to give to me. And I have this happen in my career before. You know, my first fight I lost, and I never have the rematch. And I feel like this: if I never had lost for Amanda Nunes, maybe I'm still there in UFC unhappy, you know. And now I'm free, I'm happy, and I have the deal I want. You know, I work with some boss who want to promote me. Promoter is athletes, respect us because he know the fighters make the event happen, and this is cool. You know, I'm happy.
So I feel like you have to fight Julia Budd in your first fight. Like you have to fight for the belt. No ifs, ands, or buts. Is that what is going to happen? Is your first fight for Bellator going to be a title fight?
You know, I want to fight Julia Budd. You know, I respect her. You know, she's the champion, and I'm training really hard. I want to fight her. Now let Scott see what they wanted to do. But I'm ready. If you want to do that, man, I'm welcome for me.
But your debut fight isn't set yet?
Not yet. I'm waiting.
Will you fight in 2019 now? Will you fight this year?
I think it's going to be beginner of the year.
Okay, next year.
Yes.
Okay, and could you tell us how many fights did you sign for?
I signed it. Don't tell?
What?
I cannot tell.
Who's that? Who said don't tell him?
Hey, one bird coming here to say, Cris, don't say that.
Who's
I
that?
cannot say that.
That better not be Ray. Listen, I'm not asking how much. I'm just asking how many fights. Why is it such a secret?
You know, it's a secret, but you know, the main thing I can boxing, I can do, wrestling, I can do a lot of things. And for sure next year I would like to do one boxing fight. And
By the
Let's
way,
see.
I'm just wondering if you're wearing headphones, how did he even hear the question? Are you both on the phone at the same time?
No,
How did he
you
know?
know.
You know what I was going to ask?
He's watching our show probably.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So you think you will be able to box with this deal?
Yes, and then letting me, I can boxing, I can do pro wrestling if I'd like to do.
Wow.
And yes, we partners. We build the brand together.
And you want to do pro wrestling?
No, if I have the opportunity to do that, but it's my goal now. It's Fox MMA and then probably do one boxing fight.
How many more fights do you think you have left in you? How many more times do you want to fight in a perfect world?
3 years, 4 years.
Okay.
3 years.
So you got a lot more fights.
Yes.
Do you want to end your career with Bellator in your mind? Do you want this to be the last stop?
Yes. It's I coming back at home. I started with Scott, getting my title, and then I feel my heart and I'm going to end it there.
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
And when you saw him on Saturday, was that the first time? Like, when was the last time you actually spoke to him in person?
I think I went to one event, Bellator, in LA with Gabi Garcia one time, and I say hi to him. And yesterday, and the Saturday.
Saturday, yeah.
It's nice because most people there work with me when I strike force.
Right.
And it's really cool.
What a nice introduction they gave you, right? Like the red carpet, you come out, the big intro, like the big announcement. That must have been cool. It must have made you feel good, right?
Yes, it's nice. It should be like this.
Right.
The fighter should be treated like this. I always forget about how amazing be like this, and just thank you, say I just going to give back all the love they give me. And
what about that photo that I saw of the pygmy people in Uganda watching your fight? Wasn't that amazing when you fought Felicia Spencer? All of them crowded together and celebrating and watching your fight. How did that make you feel when you saw that?
I didn't see before the fight. I saw it after fight. I wish you see before. But, making me really happy. I think now it's a new deal. I can help more people. I always say when the bless come, I can bless others. And you just give it back. This is thankful. And now, for sure, if the deal I had now, I can do more special things like this, help people who really need. And, by the way, that dress I walk into the Bellator, my mom did for me.
Oh, wow.
And I was holding 2 years, I think, in my closet. And
wow.
That day is special. Yes.
Wow. That must have been great. And what about that jersey you wore, the Wayne Gretzky Oilers jersey? Did you end up auctioning that off as well?
Yes. I give to Justin, and Justin ran his handle this, and then we make like $1,000, and the money go to the Pygmies tribe in Uganda.
Amazing. Well, congratulations on the deal. Great job, Cris, to you, and donating all that money and doing all the great things that you do for the people over there and all over the world. Congrats on the deal once again. I'm happy for you. I'm happy that you're happy, and I'm looking forward to your debut, and I hope it's for the title. Like I said before you came on, sometimes someone debuts, you don't want to give them a title shot right off the bat, but in your case, I feel like you've done enough to earn that title shot against Julia Budd, so I hope they make it right off the bat for you.
Okay, thank you, Ariel, for the opportunity. Thank you, all my fans, for your love, and follow me. And, see you soon at Bellator. And you guys, Cyber Nation, is welcome over there. Thank you.
All right. There she is, Cris Cyborg joining us. Appreciate her time very much. Exciting stuff for her. She is now the newest member of Bellator's women's featherweight division, and hopefully she gets that title shot sooner rather than later. She said beginning of the year, so we'll see if she actually gets it beginning of the year. Okay, matter of moments. We're going to be joined in studio by Luchador Cain. I wonder if he's going to be wearing the mask. I'm very excited about this. You may have seen just a few weeks ago, my colleague Mark Ramundi was there in Mexico City. Cain Velasquez, AAA, Triple Mania, made his Lucha Libre debut, pro wrestling. By the way, Lucha Libre is pro wrestling in Spanish, and luchador is a pro wrestler in Spanish. Here I am flexing my Spanish muscles, so to speak. That's all I got. I'm pretty much done after that. But anyway, it was phenomenal. The guy was flying all over the place. He was jumping off the ropes, hurricane ranas. I mean, it was incredible. And he is going to be competing this Sunday, September 15th, Mexican Independence Day, at the Madison Square Garden Theater. And so without further ado, let us say hello to the man himself, the pride of Yuma, Arizona, Cain Velasquez. How are you, my friend?
Good, how you doing?
Hey, you're not supposed to touch me, remember? We had
didn't.
a thing.
I didn't.
You were about to.
No, I wasn't. I knew.
Look at that smile, Cain.
Yeah.
You're so happy.
I'm happy to see you.
I'm happy to see you too. You like my mask?
I do. I do
This
like
is
it.
a Jessica Aguilar.
Did you choose the colors and everything?
No, I didn't. This is hers. She gave it to me. But I have to say, so bring the mic. Don't be so shy.
Oh,
Cain. I know you're very shy.
Bring it over here.
Yeah, bring it as
Okay.
close as possible. Maybe tilt it up a little bit.
There you go.
How annoying was it for you to come all the way to Connecticut to see me? Was this a big pain? Did your
No.
agent Mike Fonseca have to say, "Come on, Cain, do it for
did.
Ariel"? He bothers me a lot.
He did, but I was already in New York this past weekend doing some promotional stuff for the show coming up.
Right.
This next weekend. So I was already here. So it wasn't like it just came over here to see you.
Oh, you could have said that. I would have felt really.
Well, I'm just keeping it real.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
appreciate
you know. But no, it's good to see you.
Yeah, thank
It
you.
is.
I appreciate it. Thank you as well. Yeah, I saw you on the subway wearing the mask at the U.S.
did.
Open. So
I
you're just
know.
walking around New York City wearing that thing?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Yeah, like it's kind of fun. It's a little awkward for people, but
Yes.
for me, it's fun because I'm like, oh, they don't even get to see my face, so this is kind of cool.
No one can judge you.
Yes.
Right. I have to say, I see the smile on your face. I haven't seen you smile like this in a very long time. You see, come on, you seem really happy.
Oh, I am. Yeah, I am very happy. I am.
It's amazing. What a turn of events. If you would have told me 5 years ago that Cain Velasquez would be a luchador before his good buddy Daniel Cormier, I would have never believed this.
I wouldn't have believed you either.
Really?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have.
Okay, so let's go to the beginning. Like, when did this first come on your radar? Like, when was the first time someone approached you with this idea?
So as far as a kid, I watched pro wrestling. A big fan of it. I loved it. Like that was like my
Lucha
world.
Libre or like American wrestling?
Both.
Okay.
Lucha Libre was the first wrestling that I got introduced to, and the cool thing was like my dad was into it. He was into it as a kid, and we watched like Santos, like the movies of them, like Blue Demon, Mil Máscaras. So we watched like their movies as well as like some of their matches.
Okay.
We watched some of the just Lucha Libre events that were going on. It's on TV and stuff, but we go to Mexico every weekend, and I remember getting these action figures, lucha guys that didn't move. They were like this, and they didn't move, but you could do like I was doing like lateral drops with them and stuff like that, like the stuff that I was seeing, you know, when I was a kid. So then fast forward, we went to the Elimination Chamber, WWE, and I went with Daniel Cormier and some of the other coaches and other training partners from AKA, and we were just like kids again. That was it.
Loved it.
We loved it. Yeah, all of us. Like we were talking trash to the wrestlers. Like,
you were in the front, right, or close to the front?
No, we were in the front.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, like that was. It was a very eye-opening experience. Like it just brought us to be a kid again. We had a lot of fun out there. Fun just being in the moment. So that kind of brought the idea of why not? Well, first train it and let's see if I could even do it first. So.
Okay, so it was really that moment. Like you went to the event and that's what kind of lit the fire under you?
It did. Yeah.
How long ago was that? Was that when DC was doing Tough?
Yes.
With Stipe?
Yes.
So that was maybe 2000 and so it was like last year. Mm-hmm. Right? After his win over
before his win of Stipe. Yeah.
Stipe.
Yes.
So it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, it wasn't.
So
that
this
long
wasn't
ago.
on your radar at all.
No.
Wow.
It wasn't. No, not at all, dude. Like.
And so then how do you go from actually watching it and being like, oh, this is a great time, to actually this? Like, what happens then?
So we put out something on social media where I was wearing the Santos mask, you know, to kind of see what kind of like buzz it would create. But for myself, again, I was like, okay, let's do like a training session. Let's see if I can even do this, right? So I went to the WWE Performance Center, and I was there for a week. And just
did you go on your own?
On my own, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I went there on my own just for a week, and I did just all the workouts that everybody else was doing, you know, and just try to like learn as much as I could, and again, see if I could even do it. And the coaches loved me. They were just like you're a natural. You can do this pretty well.
Who did you work with?
I worked with Coach Smiley.
Oh, Norman Smiley.
Norman Smiley.
Wow.
Yeah, I talked with him for a bit. What really also got me, like, once I got there and I knew, like, okay, I can kind of do this. The coaches and the staff were amazing. The wrestlers were all just, you know, good people. Just everyone had a good attitude, right? It was a team. It was a team of working together to try to make something like special happen, right? Where they're in the UFC, it's not really like that. We're not necessarily a team like to work together to do something like that, which I thought was really cool and something that I haven't been a part of like in a while. Like AKA is like that to me,
Sure,
but not the UFC per se. It's not the same way, you know, as it works like internally. But the WWE, I saw that it was a family. It was a big team, and they just all worked together to put on a great show. And I really loved that. And just from the outside looking in, I got to see that. So that was pretty cool.
And so how does that work? Like, do you call them up and say, "Hi, I'm Cain Velasquez. I'd like to come." Do you have to pay? Like, how does that actually work?
I had my agent, Mike Fonseca, just call them and tell them that I wanted to do it, and let's see if they would host me, you know, for a week and just.
That's in Orlando, right?
Train, yes.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
And when you go there, like, do you feel like people are testing you and trying to see just how tough you are? You're the heavyweight champ coming in, right? Like, you're the big real guy, the real fighter. Did you feel that? Like, did you feel like you were walking into hostile territory?
No, everybody was just cool with it, you know, like open arms, just welcomed me. Everybody was super nice to work with. I could see a lot of like eyes like on me, definitely, you know.
Right.
And again, like when I was doing the stuff, working on it, like just the little techniques, like I could see, yeah, like people like, you know, obviously to see if I can even do this stuff, right? But no, man, I had great feedback from all the coaches. They were like you picked this up pretty quick. There's a lot of guys that have been here for a while, and they're still doing the stuff that you're doing. My first time going in, so that's the same feeling I had when I did MMA. When I started doing it early on, like I picked it up pretty quick. But that's how I learned. Like it needs to be something like generally something physical. If I see it done, I can do it. You know, if I see it done, that's my learned environment. So.
Was that the first time you ever did any pro wrestling training? You know, like running the ropes, all that. I heard that's really tough, right? Like you have to like touch the ropes, certain angle, and like put. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but I've seen enough documentaries where it's really tough.
Yeah, you wouldn't know how like stiff the ropes really are.
Yeah.
And you really got to hit them when you run to them. You got to like pivot, like do a 180, and have your back and like your lower back really like hit the ropes evenly, or else you'll like get bruised, like you're getting hit from something. And I had a huge like size bruise like this on my lat from the first time running them. I wasn't doing them like that, like as correctly, and now it's like, okay, now I can do them. It's like disperse the weight and energy on the ropes like correctly when you do them.
And so is this before the Ngannou fight or after the Ngannou fight where you go to WWE?
This is all before.
All before.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happens after the trip to Orlando?
After the trip to Orlando, nothing really. You know, I think the WWE knew I had an interest in actually joining wrestling, but they knew I was still fighting, and that's pretty much where where it stayed.
They didn't offer you a contract or see where your interests were or anything?
They didn't offer me a contract, and they'd always ask me like, "What do you want to do? Do you want to do like one-off shows, just come in every now and then, or be in in Orlando and train full time and do that?" I'm definitely willing to like do a lot more, and even then, I told them like I'm willing to do it 100%, like learn as much as I can, just because it was for me it's something new and it's so fun to learn. You know, the environment's different. I like that I get to learn something new and kind of, try to perfect it, and it's kind of got me hooked, yeah.
Okay, but then after that, you start to prepare for Ngannou, right? Mm-hmm. And I haven't talked to you since the Ngannou fight. It seemed like you hurt your knee in that fight.
I did.
You did. Yeah. Did you need surgery?
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
You haven't had surgery yet?
I haven't.
What happened?
So the story was after the fight, my knee was pretty jacked. And I had like 3 months or 2 months before I'd had the Mexico event in August, the Triple Mania event. So I was like, man, I don't think I can do it, right? I can't even do anything really. And I just started rehabbing it. And I would say like a month and a half into it, like I was like, damn, it feels pretty good. Like it feels good. I can do something out there. You know, I'm gonna try to make this Triple Mania event. So just started practicing, and got the brace and everything, the knee brace, and it's been good ever since. It just needed time to slowly just get healed up, and it did. It healed up enough where I can definitely do pro wrestling. I can fight as well.
What's the issue?
You don't want to know.
Bummed. Why? I do want to know. That's why I asked.
Some stuff torn in there.
Okay.
But some stuff that I heard that you don't really need. So that was
really.
Yeah.
What don't you need?
Like a PCL.
Okay. You don't have one.
Well, I do. It's just
torn.
Yeah, it's torn. But
okay.
I read like an article saying that with time, like the PCL will heal itself.
Okay.
So I was kind of banking on that, and it did, like in that month and a half of just like rehabbing the knee and stuff. Like it did, like it felt good enough where I can do a bunch of stuff. I can train. I've been training in MMA, wrestling with the guys there, and still doing the pro wrestling as well. But I had to make sure that was all good first, and it did. It got better on its own. It's definitely healing on its own. So I'm trying to go. I'm going that route.
Does it hurt right now?
No.
Okay.
No. No, man. It doesn't. Like anything that I've done too. Like from then on, from the fight, it hasn't hurt. So I've been training and sparring, doing light sparring, doing again like the wrestling class there at AKA. So I've been testing it as well. Yeah.
There was a big debate right after that fight. Like, did Ngannou really knock you out, or did you hurt yourself, and that's what led to the quick finish? What do you think? Like, did he hurt you with the punch, or was it more what happened to your knee?
The second punch, when I went in for that takedown, the one that was like kind of behind the ear.
Yeah.
I was out on my feet, and I didn't know it at the time. Just kind of, but I was out on my feet, and as I wake up, I'm falling down, and then like kind of the pain from the knee on the way down is what woke me up.
Oh wow.
So I was kind of out on my feet on the way down. The knee woke me up, so I thought like, oh shit, my knee just gave out, like some freak accident.
Yeah.
And I really had to look at the tape where it hit me, because going into the takedown, like the last thing I remember is feeling the back of his knee with my left hand.
Yeah.
That's the last thing I remember, and that's like I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in, and then he hit me with that shot, and then from there I don't remember anything until I go down on my knee, and then that's what woke me up.
Is he as advertised as far as the power is concerned?
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Power, yes, but not controlled.
Right.
That shot that he threw, he shouldn't have thrown, because I was already in on the takedown. He ended up throwing it. It's behind the ear. He shouldn't even have thrown that trajectory. My face is here on him. He needs to do this, not this. I'm already past, like in practice or something, like I'm already past your punches.
Right.
I'm in on the leg. My face is right on your chest now. And then you throw that other shot that comes around. So he's very dangerous in two aspects. One, yes, a lot of power and tremendous athlete, of course, but he needs better control,
That was a big deal. Like, that was the big homecoming fight, right? The layoff. There was a lot at stake. ESPN, right? Mm-hmm. How did you react afterwards? How did you handle the loss?
Hey, man, it happened, like nothing I could do.
Okay. So you weren't like super down or?
Well, of course I was, but there's nothing I could do. So what am I gonna do, right? I've been in these types of situations before where you just got to keep going. Like things in life don't just happen like a movie, and it just doesn't happen. Like there's always something that you need to really like dig in, dig down, dig deep. And I feel like I've had a lot of those situations, but it's like, if life throws that at you, you have to keep going forward. That's the only thing you can do. And I think that's going to obviously pay off in the end. I've always just been a true believer of that.
So when you have that fight, you don't have a deal with AAA at the time, right?
I did.
You did already?
Yes.
You knew that you were going to wrestle?
Yes.
Okay, so like how long did you take off before you start focusing on the debut in August?
So I took a month and a half off just to kind of rest the knee, get it rehabbed. And I really was just like, I can't wrestle, Like I would love them.
When did you sign with them?
We had a verbal agreement beforehand.
Okay.
Like,
and UFC's cool with that.
Yeah, we got it in our contract.
Oh wow, good for you. Well done.
The show's coming to the U.S. and stuff. Yeah.
Just AAA.
Just AAA at the moment. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You still are a UFC fighter, right?
Yes, I am.
How many fights left?
I think it's like 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll get okay. So you start preparing for AAA, and then you're worried initially, but eventually you get over the worry, and you're going full bore. You're doing this.
I'm going. Yeah. I started training at Pro Wrestling Revolution in San Jose.
Yeah. Is that just a coincidence that there's a great school in your neighborhood?
Yeah. I mean, hey, man.
What are the chances?
Right. Yeah. It just worked out. Yeah, the place is in San Jose, so I'm able to drive there and then kind of work there. I worked a lot with Vinny Macero. We had like just one-on-one like training sessions, and we were talking to Conan from AAA.
Yeah.
Ex-wrestler.
Yes.
Awesome dude.
Viva la Raza.
I love talking to him.
Yeah.
Just a cool dude, and we were just kind of talking like, you know, what type of things do you want to see, or do you want me to practice on before we do the AAA event? Wow.
And so you do that when you go there. So we had, my friend and colleague Mark Ramundi was with you, and he was telling me about some of the stories. Like, you're treated like, I mean, I've been to your fight in Mexico. Like, I know how they love you and adore you there. But did you expect that kind of reception? It seemed like a real homecoming. Like, they adore you still after all these years. Did you expect that?
Like being there for like in the wrestling, or being there just for the week before?
Yeah, the week before. Wasn't there like a parade, and you were being like, all these people came out?
Well, the parade just wasn't for me.
I know, but it felt like you were the man. I mean, at least from my perspective.
Okay. No,
so
like
humble, Cain.
I got a lot of a lot of fans there, like diehard fans there.
Yeah.
It's awesome. You know,
they adore you.
I love it. I love going there, visiting everyone. Just it's a good place. And that whole week, the reception, I don't know. I was just like, you know, I'm here to do a job, but like the people there are just always so amazing. So I love to go there and just kind of you know.
Were you nervous?
Hell yeah, I was nervous.
More so than in your MMA fights of late?
Well, there's a lot of things going on in my head.
Sure.
Because I'm like, okay, I'm going in, I'm gonna wrestle, like, and I know what I can do when I go out there and wrestle, but I'm not sure what people are gonna say, you know, which I don't care, because I'm doing this for myself. Like, I'm doing it because I love it, and I feel like people should always do that. Like, whatever you want to do in life and you love doing it, go out and do it regardless of what people say. When I first started fighting, I didn't have any support from family or friends.
Really? They didn't want you to fight?
Of course not. I was just graduating from Arizona State. At that time, fighting wasn't as big as it is now.
Sure.
It's very much like, it's not underground, but it wasn't like mainstream like it is now.
Yeah, there was like a stigma attached to it, right? What did they want you to do?
Well, I got an educational degree from Arizona State. Like,
want you to be a teacher?
You know, and I would have done that, of course. I would have done like coaching. I love coaching, so I would have done that. But I didn't have the support then. And then when I started doing like the pro wrestling, a lot of people were just like,
Your family?
It just seemed very out of the ordinary, right? And some were like, yeah, that's cool, but you know, I don't know.
Right.
I'm not even okay. That's you just brought me with you're gonna start pro wrestling. Like,
yeah.
I have to get used to the idea.
Right.
So, not to say that people were super excited, which again, it's like it's something that I wanted to do. So yeah.
So I've been watching pro wrestling for a very long time, and I know what it's like when like a celebrity comes over and has their debut, right? Like I've seen like when Lawrence Taylor comes over, or like Mike Tyson makes the rare appearance, and usually they protect the guy, and he's like a bulldozer and doesn't really do everything that's all that crazy. And I knew about the knee, and we know you still have like, you know, you still got your MMA career. And so I thought, all right, they're going to use him like, you know, the brute wrestler, and he's just going to pick people up and slam them. Meanwhile, you're like jumping all over the place. You're doing Hurricane Ranas. You're jumping off the ropes. Where did this come from?
So the week of, you know, I'm there in Mexico, and I got to train a little bit with Psycho Clown, and he just kind of did little like tricks that they would do to kind of get warmed up, to get kind of ring like awareness, like jumping.
This is you practicing.
Jumping through the ropes.
Right?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that was the first time I did that move too.
That's incredible.
So So I told him like, hey man, I want to do some like lucha stuff, like some lucha moves in the match. And he really was like, okay, like cool. So we work on the match the day before, and in that spot, he's like, hey, can you do the Hurricane Rana? Could you do that? And then
You've never done it before.
I've never done it before. Not even know like how do you do it, right?
Even in San Jose, like when you were
in San Jose, no, I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't even touch that. So I'm not even sure like how to do it. So I'm
Okay.
like, can you just kind of show me how to do it? What's the process of what you got to do? And he's like, hey, run off the ropes, boom, jump up, get your legs on the opponent and roll. So he does it, and then Psycho Clown, and then standing next to Conan. Conan asked me, can you do this move? Can you even do it? And I say, I don't know, but I'm going to try it right now. Then you tell me if I can do it.
Okay.
And so I did it. Boom. Landed it. He's like, that was fucking awesome. Okay.
And what day is this?
This is the day before the match. So this is
Friday?
Friday night, yeah.
Friday night, you're learning how to do a move for the first time.
Yeah.
That's that difficult.
Yes.
Wow.
And I did it again. It was like, cool. Conan was like, cool, we'll put that in. That's going to be good. Like, okay.
That is insane.
Yeah. So yeah, I did it there. We did it, and we added it to the show. And
So it's one thing to do it like in an empty gym with a few people. It's another to do it in the midst of a match. Come on, I'd be crapping my pants in that moment. How nervous were you?
I was nervous going out. It was like just a lot of other emotions. A lot of like, okay, what? I don't even know if this is going to turn out good. I don't know if it's going to turn out well. Like if I go out and wrestle, like again, I'm doing this. This is a new thing. I'm not sure if it's going to translate over. Like I wasn't even sure what to wear. Right. Right?
Yeah.
Like when I went out, like, do I wear something like MMA-ish?
Yeah.
So people can know, oh, that's Cain. And I was like, the way I pictured it was always with a mask.
Yeah.
Right?
You wanted to wear the mask, right?
I wanted to wear the mask,
Yeah.
yes. That's the way I pictured it. Whenever I wrestled, like, I'd have to do it with a mask. So I just did the whole, like lucha outfit, like the tights, the mask. I was nervous going out. Definitely was a little different, like jitters than a fight. Like a little more excitement, a little anxious, excited to be out there. And yeah, man, just going out there doing the moves. It was like the moves when I had to do them. I was just I had blinders on. I did my stuff, boom, 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 and then from there, it was just like have fun, have the reaction of the crowd, just. Just take all that in, just be one with the moment, and that made it just super fun, super memorable for me.
This is the mask? Is this the one that you wore?
This is not the exact one that I wore, but this is a variation of the mask. Yes.
Can you do me the honors? Can you wear it?
Yeah. The other one, we're gonna auction it off.
Oh, the one you wore.
For the proceeds going to the Gilroy Strong Foundation.
Right.
Yeah. But this one is another variation of it.
Wow, this is legit. Look at this. What an honor this is. Okay, I can't see. I feel like it's like the day before our wedding. We can't see you. Can't see the bride putting on the. This is amazing. Wow.
It's here all day. You can see me when I put this on.
This is amazing. Wow. Cain Velasquez, luchador.
El Toro.
Is that your name, El Toro?
Yeah, like.
Who came up with it? The bull?
Well. In Mexico, like they've always called me El Toro. Like,
oh, really?
It's always. I never had like the nickname stick because I never used it per se. But I've always had the people there have always called me that for my style of of fighting. So,
okay.
Yeah.
What does it feel like when you put that on?
Feels good. Man, I was just hoping I could see out of it. That was the most important for me.
Did you practice with it?
I a little bit did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. And when I practiced with Psycho Clown, I practiced with a mask on as well. Then I saw him because he wears a mask like everywhere that he goes, and he has a big like tongue sticking out. Have you seen his mask?
I think so.
It's like a crazy clown.
Yeah, yeah. Of course.
And the end of the tongue is almost in his mouth too when he's talking.
Oh my!
So he's always like moving it.
Yeah.
But no, man. I think just for me, as long as I could see out of it, then.
Who made it?
Good.
Who made the mask?
A guy there from Mexico. He does all of AAA's masks.
Okay. So it was legit, right?
His name's Oscar.
Okay.
But he does all like AAA stuff. He did my shoes. He painted my shoes and stuff.
Wow.
He did my whole like outfit.
So very authentic.
Very authentic, yeah. And I was talking to him as far as like what we thought we wanted. You know, I wanted to do like the bull mask, but yeah, it's like the colors, and then like doing like the print and stuff. Like that's all me. Like we want this and we want it in this color. So it's kind of cool to be like in charge of your whole outfit. And
Sure.
You know, what you're gonna wear and kind of customize it how you want to.
It's freaking cool, man. I must say, like just looking at you, it's like mesmerizing. Do you feel like you turn into a different person when you wear that, or am I like do you feel like a kid? Do you feel like what?
Yeah. Yeah, like a kid almost. Like, yeah, definitely transform into something different because, well, it's different for me because with the mask off, people can recognize me and
Sure.
Know me from something else. But when I put the mask on, let's say I was walking around New York with it on, and like nobody even knew who
So you're a crazy
who I was.
person.
Yeah, and they're like looking at me like, holy shit. I'm like, yeah, it's nuts.
You know, for me, if I've been in talks to go into the lucha libre world as well. They want to call me El Nariz. What do you think of that?
Okay.
You know,
you gonna wear a mask?
Yeah, of course, but I have to have like a really big opening just for the nose.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the Destroyer?
No, I'm not.
Back in the day?
No.
You wrestled like Mil Máscaras and stuff?
Yes, I know Mil. I don't know the Destroyer. Or maybe I do.
Okay. You should watch. You should look at his.
He had a big nose?
He did.
Okay. You see, this like yours is very flat over here. Mine, there's no way. You know, it would just stick out too much.
I mean, what do you think about it?
I'm cool. Like Goyito Perez told me that El Nariz was a good moniker to go by. You know, he used to wear the mask as well.
Yeah, I think. If it's personal to you and you want to, I think you can. Yeah.
And then so you get the match, and like, were you thrilled? Was it like a dream come true?
It was. Yeah, even just in between doing the whole match, even when like I took like some heat, I ended up getting beat up a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, for
took
a
some
while.
heat. Look at you talking in pro wrestling.
That's Mark. Mark's hooking me up with that.
That's right.
So yeah, I got beat up a little bit in that match. I was down outside the ring, getting beat up for a while, and I knew when I had to go back in, but I was just like thinking to myself, like in that moment, just like, damn, like you're made for this. This is fun as shit.
Yeah.
Like just looking around, and it was like chaos. People were like yelling. This one dude's like kind of cursing at me.
Really?
He was cursing at me, like as I'm down, like next to him. He's like, "You fucking suck." Or,
Wow.
I don't know if you can say that.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
He's like cursing at me. He's like, "Vales verga, güey." He's like telling me in Spanish, I'm getting beat up. And I'm just like, I tell him in Spanish, like suck it, like chúpale, güey.
Yeah.
He's like, he starts laughing. He's like, good seeing you. Yeah. Like, that was fun. That was funny.
That's amazing.
That's so fun.
That's amazing.
And after, we get done with it afterwards. And like we did all the spots we were supposed to. We got cut like short on time, so we were supposed to do like a little more stuff, but we kind of had to like reel it in,
Okay.
you know, kind of cut the match there. So that at that moment was kind of chaotic. I was like, oh wow, we got to like cut it. Okay, let's see how this kind of unfolds, and let's bring it home. Let's finish the match. But afterwards, I just got to say, say hi to the crowd. I saw my wife and daughter. My daughter was in tears. Like she loved it so much.
Wow.
Like she stole the show because she was like, she's never seen me compete ever.
Oh really?
I've never had her go to any like UFC fights. I've had her watch some of my fights, but my wife said even on my way down, like walking to the ring there, it was just like she had just tears in her eyes.
Wow.
She loved it. She just wore her heart on her sleeve, and it was an amazing day. Like to watch her, like to see. I didn't see her at all walking down. When I was done, I went over and walked over to my wife, and I saw her, and she was crying, like unbelievable.
How old is she now?
She's 10.
She's 10. Wow, that's amazing that she got to see that.
Yeah.
Did you have the second match that you're having this Sunday? Did you have that planned before this one? Was that always the plan, or did it go so well that they wanted you to come back so soon?
We had it planned, but it was kind of a base off of like how I would do in the first match.
Okay.
But
yeah.
But yeah, we had this one planned, and then in October 13th, we're going to LA to do the LA Forum.
Oh wow! So you already have the next one set.
Yes.
So
yeah, so we had these 3 planned for
Okay.
before the Ngannou fight.
and that's it's for now. It's just those 3 matches.
For now, it's just those 3 matches, just with AAA.
Okay.
Right now, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so when I said that you were going to be on the show today, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, Cain's going to announce his retirement from MMA." Are you done as an MMA fighter?
No, I'm not.
You will fight again.
Yeah, I will. Unless somebody else, tells me otherwise. And
You want to fight again?
I would love to fight again, yes. But I want to keep doing this as well.
Okay.
Definitely.
You want to keep fighting for the UFC?
Of course, yeah.
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 And do you think it would be possible to do both?
I think it would if if both organizations are okay with that, and obviously I think I'm an asset to both.
Sure.
So we'll see, and we'll see what happens with that. But
Are you happy with AAA?
I am.
You want to stick with them?
Yeah, for sure. I do. I definitely want to keep wrestling for them for just however long I can. But I would love to wrestle for other places as well too.
Okay.
Yeah. I've kind of got just really kind of opened up more into the wrestling world, right? Talking to Mark a little bit and kind of.
I like how Mark is like your guru.
He is. Well, I needed. Yeah, no, he's a great guru for sure. Because my knowledge on it was not there,
Yeah.
as far as what's going on right now. So he really got me up to speed, and as far as to what to watch, and which organizations are out there that are just kind of making a buzz.
And are you like after that debut? Did you get a lot of people hit up you or your agent, like WWE? And I was like, wait a second, we had this guy in our school. I feel like they're going to come after you. Has that happened? Have they made the call?
We've been in talks with them.
Oh, interesting. How are the talks going?
They're going pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. But I mean,
Did you do AAA and WWE? I'm not as well versed these days in how that works.
I haven't seen anybody do that, but on my tag team, Cody Rhodes.
Sure,
part of
AEW.
my tag team. He's with AEW, and
Are you talking to them too?
I've talked to them.
Oh,
I've talked to him a little bit, so I want to talk to him a little more. I think they're doing great things now that I've started watching a little more pro wrestling. I think AEW is doing some really cool things, and they have a good relationship with AAA as well.
Okay.
So they have a lot of guys going AAA and back to AEW, and AEW too does a lot of like lucha stuff. They do a lot of lucha wrestling, which I think is pretty cool. I really like what they're doing as far as the wrestling aspect of it. I think they're having just really good athletes come in, really good just showmen. They're doing good things right now. Yeah.
They have a big debut next month, right, on TNT.
Mm-hmm.
Are they asking you to be on that? What are the chances?
Not yet, because I'm just
Okay.
I'm only obligated. I can only do these 3 AAA matches, but yeah, I would love to do more. Yeah,
Okay.
and with different organizations as well. I would. Yeah.
Wow. My dream is a El Toro DC tag team match.
Dude, we'd murder everyone.
Yeah. Have you talked to him about it? I'm sure he's asked you about the experience and everything. I'm sure he was blowing you up.
In joking, yeah. I kind of, I kind of kept it. I didn't say too much about what I was doing.
Sure.
What the training was, and I want it to be just a kind of a good surprise.
Yeah.
And DC was really excited. The couple of days before, he was getting ready for his fight with Stipe, and he knew the training that I was doing, and he was kind of hitting me up. He was definitely hitting me up, the couple of days before. He was getting really excited, which I thought was super cool, So he was just getting really excited just to watch the match, and he did, and he blew me up, and he was just like, dude, that was freaking awesome. I didn't know you could do that. Yeah. So it was just a good surprise to just that he saw it. He got a lot of enjoyment out of it. So that was fun.
Do you want him to keep fighting?
I want him to do what he wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
If he wants to keep fighting, however many times, I think he can do that for sure, because that's the type of competitor and the type of guy that he is. But also, if he doesn't, then he doesn't have to.
Right.
He's done he's done so many great things in the sport. It's been a privilege to watch him, on light heavyweight and also in the heavyweight division, and just fucking being the top guy. Like that's awesome that he did that. I just love to see him, succeed and just doing what he's doing, and if he wants to do it, cool. And if he doesn't want to do it, then I'm definitely cool with that too.
You at that fight in Anaheim last month?
I was, yeah.
Was that tough backstage afterwards? I'll never forget the moment. I think it was the first Jones fight where you greeted him backstage and he cried on your shoulders. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. And I know he's a very emotional guy, and that's, I think, why a lot of fans love him, right? Because he wears his emotion on his sleeve. What was it like backstage for this one?
Yeah, just same, just bummed, like he was winning that fight. He's doing really good, and then it started turning the other way. It just it's tough, It's like in MMA, like the wins are big, and the losses are like some really hard losses.
Right.
That's just how the sport is, and it's great. You never know what's gonna happen. The fights can always change, and that's the beauty of MMA. But it just bummed, and I know I've been there before.
Sure.
And it's hard, but that's why we do this, right? To get to greatness, and sometimes we don't get there. It doesn't pan out the way we want it to in that fight or in that match, but you can always keep going, right? So.
And also, I'd be remiss if I just wanted to send my condolences to you. I know you lost your mother recently.
Thank you.
How are you handling that?
I'm good. Like just think about like the good times, right? Like she's gone, she's not here anymore, and for me, I just wasn't sure how I'd feel, with her like being gone. Like, would I feel like something is missing, and it is, and with my mom, she was an amazing woman. Like, her mind was, she was just so open to people. I kind of got that from her, like being open minded and stuff like that. So I was just like, I could tell her anything. I had that relationship with her that I would tell her anything. I'd tell my friends like what I had talked to her about, and they'd be like, "What? You talked to your mom about that?" But this is how she was. I could talk to her about anything. I was very just loving and compassionate with her. Like she dropped me off at school, even in high school, I'd give her a kiss, before I left, and not people wouldn't do that.
Right.
But I would. And that's just how I felt with her, just very open with her, could tell her anything, just very loving. And so she left a big impression on me, obviously with my whole life. So it's kind of hard to have her gone.
Did she get to see her debut?
She did.
Okay, that's great. And how's your dad doing?
He's a mess.
Okay.
My mom had a lot of like health issues in like the last couple of years of her life, and my dad took care of her.
Okay. All right.
My dad was with her every day, like took care of her. She'd wake up in the middle of the night, and she was bedridden for like the past like 2 years of her life, and he took care of her. He, changed her diaper and everything she needed, and for me, it's just kind of crazy to see that form of like life.
Yeah.
But when I'd go over there, I would help as well. And my dad was just a champ, just did it and just loved her and like loved talking to her. So now that she's gone, he's taking it pretty hard because he doesn't know. Well, it's just like his routine is
life changed. Yeah.
So it's hard for him, but he's a strong, he's a strong man. He's a strong human being, and he'll continue to keep going forward as well.
I wish the best to him.
Thank
I know he's
so
a very
much.
strong guy. Been in at your fights I see him with the hat, cage side.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Before I let you go, I just want to ask you about Khabib's win. Did you watch it on Saturday?
Yes.
How good is that guy? I think he's the most
awesome.
dominant athlete we've ever seen. Like the way he suffocates people.
Yeah.
28-0. It's absurd, right?
He's amazing, man. He's a beast. Yeah.
Have you ever grappled with him?
I don't think I have.
Okay.
But
I mean, he's gone against bears, so I don't think it's
yeah. No,
it's
not. No, it's not. I could definitely. Yeah, he's amazing. Like for sure. Like he's a beast. And the thing is, like the guys that he brings too, like all those guys are good. That he comes with
Dagestan.
From Dagestan, like they're all super strong. You don't think that they're gonna be that strong, but they are. And I could just know, like with Khabib, just his pressure, like going forward, mixing up the boxing and wrestling. It's something that's really tough to deal with. And I know guys are really gonna have trouble like dealing with them, but it's awesome, man. I love what he's doing. I know, like the first time he came in to AKA, and just wanted to be a fighter, right? He wanted to be the best guy out, and he put the work in to do that.
And now he's that guy.
Freaking awesome. Hell yeah. And
does it make you smile to see Javier Mendez? Like, he brings him there with his dad. Like, that's your guy as well. But it's just so fun. Like all these Russian guys and Javier.
I love that Javier's just having fun.
Yeah.
He's kind of like, he's a little like, he doesn't like to like show emotion and like do fun stuff. He's kind of like a prune, I guess you would say. Mm-hmm. Right. But like when he's out with those guys, they take him around to wherever, and he loves it. And I love that he's having fun. He's posting like stuff on social media, and he's having a blast. So I love that.
When do you think you'll fight again?
We'll see. So after the AAA event in October, then I can figure out what I'm going to do as far as when I would fight again.
Realistically, when do you want to fight again?
We'll see, man. It could be anytime next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone on your mind?
No, I've always been the type of guy to never pick an opponent.
Sure.
You know that.
You're not done.
I'm not done. No.
Can't be done. Can't go out like that.
Hell no.
You're El Toro.
I am.
Cain Velasquez. By the way, was that your first time back at that arena since the Verdum fight?
It was.
Oh my gosh, what was that like?
Again, dude, it's like, fuck it. You got to go out and perform now. You got something else you're doing. So
you feel like you were able to kind of like right that wrong, like put those feelings.
No, I mean, of course not, right?
Right.
But there's a different page, chapter that I got to write up, which was positive. But no, you don't get to write that wrong yet.
Yet. You never know.
You never know.
You know what I love about this? Like the knock on you for all those years was like, yeah, he's great, but he has no personality. He's so quiet, all this stuff. Look at you. No personality. Come on. You've done an interview for the last like 30 minutes with this like bull mask on. It's amazing.
It takes a while. People don't understand that. Like for me, if I'm hanging out with somebody, it takes me about a year to like bring out my true self.
Okay.
And I guess with the fans it's taking a little longer, but that's just how I am. I don't know. It takes me a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely happy for you. It's
Thank
great.
you.
When I saw
Thank you
that
so
footage,
much.
man, of you flying around, it was great.
I could hear it from just your reaction. So thank you a lot.
Oh, 100%.
That means a lot to me.
And so it's this Sunday, September 15th, I believe 6 p.m. Eastern at the Madison Square Garden Theater in New York City. And it's another three-way. It's a six-man.
It'll be on 3-on-3 tag team, yes.
Who's on your team this time?
So Psycho Clown and I don't even know.
Okay. Who are you going up against?
So we're going up against Tejano Jr., Taurus.
Okay.
And then another new guy coming in.
Doesn't even matter.
I think it's Tejano's tag team.
Oh, look at this.
partner.
We got the card right over here. Look at that. Who's responsible for this? Wants over? Well done. Look, Cain Velasquez, Psycho Clown, Brian Cage against Texano Jr., Taurus, and Scorpion King.
Yeah.
Look at that. AAA invading New York, MSG's Hulu Theater. This Sunday, Blue Demon Jr. against Dr. Wagner Jr.
That's going to be a great show. I mean, if anybody's ever been to like a Lucha Libre event, like the atmosphere is so cool for like fans. Like they're very much involved. Like it's a big party. You're there, you're cheering, you're booing, making as much noise as you can, and just let loose and get into like what's going on, and you'll have a blast.
And LAX, I like LAX. Thing went away, but LAX, those guys are cool. Yes. I remember them from back in the day.
Yeah.
That's good. All right. Well, I wish you the best, my man. Thank you for doing this.
Much.
Has it been fun coming here? ESPN? Did you ever come here before?
I have before.
Okay.
It's good. It's good to talk to you.
Oh wow.
I always like talking to you. I think it always flows.
It does
pretty well.
I have to say, of all our interviews, and we've been talking for a long time now, I think this was my favorite one.
There you go.
Do you agree?
I gotta look back at the other interviews, but I'm sure.
Just said it, yeah, it was my favorite one. Ended on a good note,
But and great job on our success.
Oh, thank you.
I know you've been hustling out there.
Thank you.
So that's awesome.
Appreciate it. Thanks, my man. Gracias. And how do you say good luck?
Buena suerte.
Buena suerte. There he is, El Toro.
Gracias.
Cain Velasquez, the former and soon-to-be future UFC heavyweight champion, AAA champion, WWE champion, AEW champion. The world is his oyster. El Toro, thank you so much, Cain. I appreciate it. Good luck this Sunday. By the way, how can I watch? Can I watch?
You can watch it on Twitch.
Okay.
I have it on Twitch.
All right.
Unless you're in Latin America, then you can watch it for free.
Okay.
It'll be on Twitch.
All right.
Yep.
There he is. Watch him this Sunday. Mike, appreciate it, my man. Thank you very much. This has been a lot of fun. Cain, they'll just escort you out. We don't take commercial breaks here, so it's just like a revolving door of madness. There you go.
On the next.
Yes, thank you. Next up, I think, is Tony Ferguson. El Kukui. You've heard of him, right?
Yeah, yes.
The man. Tony Ferguson coming up, Todd Duffee, Ryan Bader, and, of course, Jorge Masvidal. So another fighter who has ties to the Latin American region. That was amazing. That was great stuff. Thank you very much to Cain's team for bringing him in. Yes, I've been interviewing Cain for a very long time, over a decade. That was the happiest Cain Velasquez that I have ever seen, that I've ever heard from. That was really great. That smile, I don't know if you guys could capture it, see it, feel it through the mask on the screen, but that was real. That is a happy man. I'm so happy for him. That was really good. That lifted my spirits. So great stuff there. Thank you very much to him. And if you're in the New York area, I'm told from Mark that the AAA shows are phenomenal and very fun for the kids, for the family, everyone. Everyone likes it, so do check it out. All right, great stuff there. Who is next, Corporate Jake, by the way? Okay, it is Tony Ferguson. I was right. All right, so you want to know what Tony Ferguson thinks about Khabib Nurmagomedov? You want to know what he thinks about his big win at UFC 242? So I've never done this. 10 years I've been doing this show, 10 plus years. I've always done every single interview on Monday or Tuesday when we have a Tuesday show, but you get what I'm saying. And a couple of times we've pre-taped like 30 minutes prior because a guy had a plane to catch, but we're always very upfront. I've never taped an interview on a Sunday or a Friday or a Thursday to air on the show. Never done it before. But when I reached out to Tony and his team, they said they want the immediate thoughts and they want those thoughts to go out to the world on SportsCenter. And so we did that. We spoke on Saturday, like an hour after UFC 242 concluded. A portion of that interview aired on SportsCenter later that night, but now the entire thing will air here today. So here is my conversation with El Kukui, Tony Ferguson, the consensus #1 contender at 155 pounds, an hour after Khabib Nurmagomedov's win over Dustin Poirier Saturday night. Tony, thank you very much for doing this. UFC 242 wrapped up Saturday afternoon. I know you watched the main event. First off, what did you think of Khabib Nurmagomedov's performance?
Lazy, one-dimensional, nothing against them. Both the guys did awesome fight week. I know there was a lot of nerves and stuff. Khabib showed up. He obviously won. He put the pressure on Dustin, and Dustin didn't have an answer for it, man. So props to Khabib for winning. But like I said, it's lazy. We prepared for this guy many times, and he's a good fighter, but I know how to break that code.
When you say lazy, I think a lot of people will be surprised by that description. Could you explain why you felt it was a lazy performance?
Well, being my type of fighter and my kind of type of guy, right? You know, I throw a lot of barrage of punches, kicks, knees, and elbows. So when I see somebody pushing against the cage and not really doing too much and being active and just kind of putting like themselves as a wet blanket. In jiu-jitsu, we use that saying, he's a wet blanket. Just sitting there. It's a lot of pressure. I think you remember when I fought Danny Castillo, he kind of did the same kind of thing. But it's interesting how Khabib fights, but to me it's just boring, man. It's lazy.
When you watch a fight like that, do you start to think, okay, I would do this in this situation? Like when he's mauling Dustin in the first round, he's putting his hands on his face and he's going for the neck crank and the rear naked choke. Like, do you start to envision yourself in those positions? And if so, what was Dustin doing wrong that he should have been doing to avoid those positions?
Well, I guess that's where, for myself as a high level, and I'm not trying to like toot my own horn, but shit, man. I mean, as a high level grappler, I mean, Khabib's a high level grappler. He's been grappling his whole entire life. So have I. Now in wrestling, you're playing chess. It's not checkers. You're going to need to know where your next opponent's going to go and so on and so forth. You can't just learn wrestling overnight. In Dustin's case, great fighter and everything, but I've been doing this a lot longer than Dustin has as far as like grappling and chain wrestling and doing that kind of a thing. Not like I said, not taking anything from Dustin. Dustin went out there and did a hell of a job, same as Khabib, but my style is a little bit different. Obviously, it's not always going to work, but right now for Khabib, I believe my style is actually the one that could outsmart him, could outthink him, and could outmove him, outmaneuver him, and put him in places where he's not familiar, like in dancing territory. You heard him saying, he's like, my father say, if you don't know how to dance, don't dance. Well, shit, dude. My dad told me not to dance. I'm still going to go fucking dance. I don't give a shit. Like, straight up, dude, you got no feet.
When you watch him, do you see holes in his game right now?
Yeah. I mean, but I've said that a lot. I mean, a long time ago. I mean, we're such a high level, and all I've been doing is sitting here and competing and trying to make my stuff better. So, I mean, with him, I see a lot of holes in his game, but he's got a high-level team with him, and obviously they know what they're dealing with, so they're going to go to the drawing board, and they're going to try to fix those holes. I think Dustin was in awe during Fight Week. I think that it was probably just a culture shock. I mean, how everything was, and it was probably just a lot, man, for both fighters. So, I mean, I think that with that being said, I think the next fight, they're going to probably have one of the best Khabibs you've ever seen. So they're going to fix a lot of holes in his game, and he's going to take those nerves, and hopefully, you know what I mean? Like, he didn't even sound like he wanted to take the fight. I mean, seriously, you get done fighting, you need to act interested, dude. This is everybody wants to hear and everybody wants to fight. You and me, we know we got to squash this shit. We got a lot of history behind this. I don't have to go and talk a bunch of shit. We already know that the hype behind this. I mean, 4 times, right?
Okay, so let me ask you. Yeah, this would be the 5th time. Yep. So let me ask you about that. When John Anik asked Khabib about what's next, he didn't really take the bait. He didn't mention you. He didn't mention really anyone in the cage. What did you make of that?
Well, I'm not going to try to be here and correct you, but I'm going to tell you, man, it's chess. This isn't checkers anymore. I mean, literally, these guys are in check. It's defend or vacate. You got 2 options. You either set it down and walk away, like I said, or you're going to have to sign a dotted line and you're going to have to face me. And then you're going to get a good old American ass whooping. My way.
Tony, do you feel like Khabib doesn't want to fight you?
I think that there's a lot of nerves. I mean, I'm not going to take anything from them. I'll keep it lightheaded, lighthearted. I mean, literally, shit. There was a lot of pressure in it. There's been a lot of buildup. It's been a crazy year. Like I said, props to both fighters, man. I mean, and everybody on the card. I hear it was really hot out there. And I was telling my wife, I was like, she said, it's hot in there. Does that get to you? And I was like, no, as fighters, you just have something in you that you're just going to have to go and battle through it. And Dustin said it right there in his interview that, you know what, it was hot, but did it get you? And he said no. He said absolutely not. We're in here training. We're putting ourselves through so much heat and so much bullshit that when we get out there, we're going to do the damn thing. And Khabib already knows, man, and his team already knows. We've been through this already. There's no other song you can repeat, man. But this is a tune that we all want to hear, and we all want to dance to it. So I mean, he's got nowhere else to run, man. I mean, literally, UFC, they said it. That Tony's next and all this other BS. I don't have to do shit. I don't have to hype up nothing. You know what I mean?
Was there anything that Khabib did do in the fight that actually surprised you? That you said, okay, this is commendable. I'm impressed by this.
He upgraded some of the smaller details that I've seen in the fight. You saw a couple of the face grabs and some of that. I mean, it's like rough house rules. It's like schoolhouse rules and in football. If you guys are playing out in the field and boom, somebody just, oh man, you're kind of playing a rut. Well, shit, man, this is schoolyard rules. That's what that was. So he got a little bit more tactical as far as his school fight IQ. I mean, it's hard, man. I mean, it's not a street fight, but when you're in there, the rules are pretty point and clear. Certain things you shouldn't do, and the rest is pretty creative. So, I mean, props to him for doing a couple of smart things in the fight. I mean, Dustin did a hell of a job. I mean, seriously, putting his back against the cage, trying to peel him off, getting good hand control. I mean, he went for the guillotine, dude. He almost had him. With the guillotine, man. I mean, Khabib was panicked. He had him panicked, man. But that was, when you're going for a power move like that, you're going to waste all your energy. Not waste. You're going to use all your energy. And, like I said, props to Dustin for giving it us all and going to a fucking different country, man, and handling business like that. And I know he's got the loss, but there's nothing to hang your head about. Fuck no. Good shit.
You know, Tony, considering what this fight represents to you and considering everything you've been through over the past 2 years, the ups and the downs, when you watch Khabib fight now and then you see like everyone talking about you in the midst of the fight, after the fight, what are the feelings that go on inside? Is it hard to watch him? Is it hard to envision like what might have been, what could have been? What are you thinking as you're watching this?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing, Earl. You know why? Because I got awesome fans. I don't know how or why, but if you go on the UFC embedded, I mean, the whole comment section is freaking ridiculous, man. It's like Tony type of guy. It's just freaking amazing, dude. It's awesome without the support from my fans and letting me just do what I got to do, which is fight. The fans are fighting for me, man. It's fucking cool, dude. It's a really cool experience to go through it. I'm very fortunate. My family and we're fuck, dude. Everybody's doing good, man. We're really. I can't be thankful enough that I've went through so much bullshit to get me to this point. So it's cool. Thankful.
You know, UFC President Dana White was asked multiple times about you leading up to the fight this week and also after the fight in the post-fight press conference. And he continues to say Tony Ferguson is next if he accepts, if he wants the fight. Yeah, there's Conor out there, but if Tony wants it, he can have it. Why do you think he keeps putting that if out there? I feel like you've been very clear about what you want, but he keeps putting that caveat. What do you make of him always saying that?
I don't know. That's between my management or my agents and him, dude. I mean, all I gotta do is worry about fighting, and I'll be at the first part of the day. It's you gotta wake up and you gotta put in your time and effort. And these dudes already fucking know that I've put in my time and effort. So it's kind of hard to go and sit at the breakfast table when you know I put the numbers up. You're putting up the fucking the newspaper, boom, and it's right there in your face. What are you gonna do, right? Come on, dude. This is not Jerry Maguire, bro. Like seriously, man. It's like I went out there, I danced, I did my shit. I'm still fucking singing the same tune. It's not fuck you, pay me 10 push-ups. No, it's fuck you, pay me $10, dog. Let's go. Come on, man. I put in my time. I put in my effort. I'm here. I don't have to bitch anymore. I'm here. If Khabib accepts a fight, it's defend or vacate, man. I mean, that's real shit. I don't really. Doesn't matter who they put in front of me. We're gonna go out there. We're gonna prepare very smart. My team and I, we're very diligent in our approach towards any opponent that we face. And I've got my family and my fight team support. So, with that being said, even if good old Fathead doesn't accept it, we'll get that belt either way.
So I was going to ask you, like, if there's a part of you out there, you know, he talked about George St. Pierre. We know Conor's like this cloud that hangs over the division. Is there any part of you that would accept anything else? Or is it title fight next or bust? You are not entertaining any other idea?
What do you think, Ariel? What's your take on that one?
You want my take? You want my serious take?
Yeah, buddy. What's your 2 cents?
You've won 12 fights in a row. He's 12-0 in the UFC. It's a crime that you haven't fought for a real belt yet. This is the fight that has to happen. It has to be next for you. It has to be next for him. If they go in any other direction, it's a huge stain on the sport. It's a black eye on the sport. This is the fight. If both of you are healthy, in my opinion, this is the fight that has to happen, and the talk should just end there. There should be no other footsie being played with any other fighter. It should be you two, and hopefully it should happen within the next 6 months. If I was in charge, that's what I would do if you'd like to know.
And if I was in charge, we're doing this shit in December, Ariel. You know what? I'm calling it right now. We called it already. We need to do this shit in December. We're going to let Khabib go and eat his hamburgers with cheese and all the other bullshit. Enjoy it, fathead. Don't get too fat. You know I'm coming at you harder than Tiramisu Tuesdays. I mean, it's still there, man. It's popping. I got some new shit for you guys. I'm really excited.
Okay, so then let me ask you that, because I saw the video that you posted about December 14th. Do you have any indication, you know, there's a lot of title fights that the UFC has to put on before the end of the year. There's a lot of champions that are waiting to get fights. Guys like Max Holloway and Amanda Nunes and John Jones, they're all itching to fight. Do you think it is really possible that this fight can happen December 14th? Do you have any inkling? Have you talked to the UFC? Your management talked to the UFC? What could you tell us about the status? I know it's all very fresh, but you did call that date specifically.
That's what we want. That's the date that we want. We want to go out there. We want to perform in Vegas. That's what I want. I know it could be whatever he says. I mean, literally, you got to accept the fight. I mean, literally or not, defend or vacate. Seriously, just set it down and fucking walk away, buddy. Just say everybody that, you don't want to fight me. You're scared. Retire. Do whatever the fuck you got to do. You made your money. Just sit it down, walk away. If not, literally, that's where I want to fight. I want to fight in December. I'm tired of fighting once a year, Ariel. I'll be real with you. I'm a competitor. I'm a high-level competitor. I'm a multi-sport athlete. I don't like sitting here and watching people compete. I'm not trying to move and jump weight classes and everything. I got asses to kick here. So until I get that belt, seriously, I mean, that's all we're going for. Give me a title shot or bust, December.
Could I ask you, Tony, do you already have the game plan in your mind? Like, could you give us some insight as to how Tony would attack Khabib Nurmagomedov without giving away too much? You've obviously thought about it. You prepared for him 4 times before. Could you give us some insight? This is a guy who's lost 1 round in his entire UFC career, 12 fights. How do you actually unlock this code?
Well, he pissed me off a couple times. So when him and his team circled my family over at the hotel, I owe him one for that. And then Javier in the elevator. I remember I was actually just got done with my arm being broke, and I'm at the fight, and the elevator door's open. Here's Javi, man, fucking looking at me, and I don't know who he was. I just remember he was a coach, and he looked at me and he kind of went, "That's him." And I walked by and I was like, "Who's that?" And I figured it out, and I was like, "What the fuck, dude?" All right, so that was 2. Like, seriously, man. Like, and then the third one, man. Like, seriously, like, I can keep counting them. I owe this dude a couple shots to the stomach. He's got 2 coming to the stomach. I'm going to slam him from his feet to his back. And in Sambo, that's like a big diss. Now, when I fought Cowboy Cerrone, like, if you kick him on the back leg and the front leg, if you do like a double kick, whack. That's like kind of like a, oh, man, I just kicked your ass. It's like a TF. It's kind of like an ankle pick. I did that to Cerrone and he broke. No disrespect to Cerrone. No disrespect to Khabib, but I'm going to slam his ass. I'm going to pick him up. I'm going to show him exactly what grappling's all about. The dude doesn't like to get hit. There's no secret to this shit. It's who's going to want it more. It's a battle of will. UFC, December, Vegas. No bullshit. Defend or vacate. I'm here. I got my belt. I'm staring right at it. I mean, what? He just got a new one? That's cool. Let me take that off your hands, kid. You don't need that. You ain't going to fight enough.
Can I ask you about that first incident you talked about? What happened? You said they surrounded your family?
Yeah, we were checking in the hotel, right? And him and his fucking team, they were kind of a bunch of little fucking goons or whatever. And we're checking in, and my wife and I looked, and there was like 3 or 4 of his fucking teammates. They were looking at us like they were like circling us, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck? And then later on, my team and I, we had another like kind of like running with them. And I'm like, seriously. And these dudes are just a bunch of fucking bullies. I was standing up. I stood up. Fucking Ali Abdelaziz and I exchanged some words over at the fight not too long ago, and he fucking knows exactly what he's dealing with. I don't play around, dude. I really don't. And when I do, it's cool. It's fun and games. But when it comes to this fight game, it's ruthless, man. It's more ruthless than Robbie Lawler. And it's more ferocious than a T. Ferg attack. And I hate to talk to myself in third person, but seriously. The one thing this game has taught me is to never take anything for granted and to fucking work and put your numbers on. That's how I got accepted into the Ultimate Fighter, man. I put my numbers up and I put it on a piece of paper and I told him, you got to take me, brother. Let's go, kid. Put it on a platter for him. Well, I did it again. They see it, they give me another chance. You see it all the time. You got to work hard in this industry, especially for the UFC. Because it's a meal ticket, man, and somebody else is going to take it if you don't take it. So I'm here and I'm fighting.
Just a couple more things. What's the game plan as far as your management is concerned? When are you guys going to try to reach out and get this deal done for December?
Well, I'm going to talk to them right now. As soon as I get off the phone with you, I'm going to call them. I'm going to probably talk about the fight. Probably let me vent a little bit. It was hard, man. It was hard watching from the sidelines. You understand that? It was really hard. So I like to compete. So being the guy that I am and the type of person that I am, to watch that and then see how Dustin reacted after it. I mean, I know it. I can feel it in the same way with Khabib. He fucking knows the same thing. Like I said, I'll let Khabib and Dustin have their time off, enjoy their time. But come Tuesday, I'll remind Khabib what day it is.
That's right, Tiramisu Tuesday. Okay, let's end on this. Let's end on a good note, Tony. You mentioned the embedded comments. You mentioned everyone talking about, we talked about it last week. Tony Ferguson is the kind of guy. But I failed to ask you this question. I feel like I'd be remiss if I don't ask you this question. What kind of a guy is Tony Ferguson?
I'm the type of guy to wear shades at night and inside. And I'm the type of guy that goes out there and fights. And you can follow me on my way to victory on IG and that little tweety thingy at Tony Ferguson XT. Thank y'all.
So there you have it. Tony Ferguson, his immediate thoughts following UFC 242. The words that stood out to me: lazy, unprofessional. Later was complimentary. Also, those run-ins with Khabib and his team I had not heard about, but very clear what he wants. He wants to fight December 14th. He wants that title fight. And like I said, I feel like that's the only fight. That is the fight that has to happen. Now, this Saturday, the UFC is back in Vancouver. The main event is Justin Gaethje versus Donald Cerrone. I feel like the winner of that fight should fight Conor next. I know Conor went on Twitter afterwards and said, book the rematch in Moscow. And I have no doubt that he would do that. I have no doubt that he wants that. But I feel like right now with Ferguson's win streak and the fact that they tried to do that fight 4 times before, it's the fight that has to happen. And so we'll see if they get it done. So Gaethje Cerrone is a phenomenal main event. There's nothing that I can say to get you even more excited about that fight. They sell themselves, right? The two names sell themselves. But would you believe me if I told you that that's not the fight that I'm most looking forward to this Saturday? Because that is in fact true. The fight that I am most looking forward to this Saturday is Jeff Hughes versus Todd Duffee. Yes, Todd freaking Duffee. There he is. 4+ years since we've seen that man inside the octagon. He is back. The Duff man is back. Todd, how are you?
I'm good. I just finished training up here at Couture's, up in the black room.
Oh, yeah.
What's up?
I missed you. Where have you been?
Yeah. Oh, I've been hanging out in California and Vegas, having a good time.
Why have you not fought in 4+ years?
I just couldn't get it to work out. It's a tough sport.
Was it injury related? Was it something else?
Yeah, I had an injury. I was supposed to, that Canada card, that Moncton Canada card last year I was supposed to get on, but I ended up falling through the cage at the Tough gym.
Oh my gosh.
I fell through the cage gap and blew out my knee, so that kind of took some time off for sure.
You fell through the cage at the Tough gym in Las Vegas?
Mm-hmm. The old one.
How did that happen?
Sparring with Blagoy before he fought Junior, about 2 weeks before, maybe a week before. We were going pretty light, but I bounced back, and the floor kind of gave out just enough for my leg to slide through between the cage and the floor.
Oh my gosh!
Sorry.
And what happened? You tore your knee?
Yeah, I ended up blowing out some ligaments.
Did you need surgery?
Oh yeah.
Wow. Which knee?
Yeah. I got up. I finished the round. I felt the pop, and then me and Blagoy got into a grappling exchange. And I was like, oh, we got to stop. And then I waited a week or two thinking that maybe I can just kind of get away with not, avoiding surgery. But it just wasn't an option, sadly.
Wow. And which knee was this?
Ariel.
What? Is that
what?
Bad question?
It's one of the two.
One of the two. I was just trying to paint the entire picture. I want to get the facts right. But that's a serious thing. I mean, did you consider legal action? I mean, your career was derailed, or was that just a freak accident?
No, I mean, the cage was bad. I think the next week they took the whole place down.
Okay.
I'm not the first person that's got hurt in that cage like that. I know that.
Wow.
I think there was a fight where a guy got his ankle caught. No, I mean, you sign a waiver when you walk in the door, you kind of take on that responsibility. That gym probably should have been taken down a few months before. It was pretty evident. I mean, it's an old gym. It's been through quite a bit.
Right.
But it's just life,
Yeah. How much did you miss fighting? How much did you miss, the nerves, the feelings, the lights, all that stuff?
Oh, I love to be alive, Ariel.
Yeah. Who doesn't, right?
Yeah, it's fun. I miss it a lot.
Was there ever a point where you thought you might never come back?
Early on, when Joe was negotiating with me after my last fight, yeah, I just it just didn't make any sense. I couldn't get anybody behind me. It just did not make sense. And then I was worried that I would not be able to make it back. The new matchmaker Mick came in. He made me a good deal, and I was able to get back in the fighting. It was wonderful.
So when you say
I was just worried that it wasn't something that was in the cards. They made it pretty evident that I didn't have the value that a normal fighter. You know, it wasn't smart. I couldn't make sense of it.
And when you say Joe, you're referring to Joe Silva, the former UFC matchmaker, right?
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't been around for 3+ years. That's how long ago it's been.
Mm-hmm. That's just been a long time. I've not been worried about it since Mick got on board.
Okay, so
but there was a few months where I was like, man, like I may not be able to do this anymore. It's sad. That was scary.
Yeah,
it's not something I wanted. It's not something I was just like, oh.
So did Mick reach out to you, or once he came on board, did you reach out to him?
I can't remember. It's been a long time.
Okay. And
we did that year. We did the deal like 3 years ago. I had the shoulder surgery and then I had this knee.
Right.
2 years ago.
So he gave you a new deal.
Yeah.
Are you happy with it?
Yeah, it's great.
Okay. And so here you are. You're back now.
Where's Cain? Is he not in the studio anymore?
He's gone. Yeah, he's gone.
Oh, I missed him. Tell him hi.
He's the man. You weren't watching?
No, I was training. Look at me.
I know. You look so sweaty. It's amazing. How much do you weigh? How much do you expect to weigh on Friday?
It always changes fight week. Most of the camp I've been between 248 and 244.
Wow.
When I weigh myself every morning and night typically. So.
And can I just say, I really like the new hairstyle.
Really? You're always with compliments, though, Ariel. It's hard to believe you a lot of the time, you know?
Well, I don't know why you wouldn't believe me. I feel like I'm a sincere and genuine guy. I first saw the hairstyle, by the way, on your great Instagram page at Todd Duffee, for those that want to follow up with your comings and goings. Also, your Twitter page, I noticed, is protected these days.
Is it?
Yeah. Did you know that?
No idea. I haven't been on that thing in, I feel like, years.
Oh, okay. But Instagram, you're quite active on. So I was just wondering, like, what the hairstyle, because I remember you as the shaved head guy, RoboCop, right?
Yeah, I remember.
What happened? You felt like growing it out?
Yeah. I mean, it's just people are nicer to me. Let's be honest. Have you ever grown your hair out, Ariel? People are way nicer. The gas station attendant,
really,
the waitresses. Oh God, yeah, big time.
Why do you think that is?
Prejudice. I don't know.
Okay.
People are just like very, quick to make judgment. I guess.
I guess
I look scared.
Yeah, I mean, you maybe look a little more approachable, a little friendlier. I don't know, but I think it's a good look on you, so I hope you keep it. I know in the midst of, you've had a lot of ups and downs. You also had the Parsonage-Turner syndrome that you were battling. Does that still affect you at all, or are you completely over that?
I'm over it personally.
Okay.
I'm tired of it.
Okay. Well, does it still like?
Yeah, but naturally, yeah, of course it does. It's just one of those things, any injury is going to affect you for a lifetime, especially in this sport.
Yeah.
So any time, like any surgery, you're never going to be the same. That's life. That's any injury. Your body's, you only got one.
Right. But does it affect you in training at all? Like, have you had to change the way you prepare for a fight because of this?
Yeah, but that was 6 years ago, right? So
yeah.
I'm kind of used to it at this point. Like I've adjusted it. It hasn't came to mind in probably the last 3 years of training.
Okay.
Because I've just kind of adjusted to it. I know how to manage it. It's just kind of part of life.
So I don't know if you know this, but like I do this show now, it's live, but there's also a TV version of this show that airs Tuesday nights on ESPN2, and we do like a 1 hour version of this very long show. And at the end of the show, I always do this segment called Turn Back the Clock, where I look at something that's happening now and kind of look at the history of it or whatever. And so this week's segment is about you and your very sort of
sweaty puddle.
Wow, that is amazing and gross. But you've had a very memorable career, ups and downs. It's been 10 years from the Hague knockout and then the Mike Russow fight and leaving the UFC and over. In the midst of all this, like, you ever take a step back and just look at this journey? Because, I mean, with you, it's never been boring. It absolutely has never been boring.
No, it's not been boring. Sure has it.
Do you ever pop in the old, well, I don't want to say pop in the old tapes. That doesn't really happen anymore. But do you look back at some of those old fights and reminisce these days?
Sometimes I do. I haven't watched myself fight probably a year. I probably will this week at some point, just to kind of get an idea of what somebody might expect. But not really. It's not, there's a major evolution that goes on in 10 years, you can imagine.
Sure. Do you feel like a different person?
No.
Okay, so I guess there isn't.
I was like a latchkey kid growing up, so I kind of already had my adult hat on, I guess.
Right. But there were times where you were like sort of butting heads with management and all that. It seems like maybe that's not the case anymore.
Who did I actually ever butt heads with, Ariel?
Well, you remember you left and the fast track and all this stuff.
I didn't leave. I got kicked out for a quote-unquote bad attitude, but there was no story behind that for some weird reason.
Well, how are things now?
I mean, they're fine. They've always been fine on my end. I never got to I had one conversation with Dana when they brought me back right before I walked out the way. I was like, hey man, are we good? Like, is there anything you want to sit down and talk about? He's like, no, we're great, with a big, huge smile. That's the extent of that entire thing. And I left it at that because, I mean, what's it matter? You know, I'm back and I'm happy to be here.
Right. Where do you live these days?
I'm out in Las Vegas now.
Okay. When did you move there?
Probably about 4 or 5 months ago.
Okay. Why?
UFC PI. Financially, it just makes so much sense with the therapy aspect. I've not been able to get 2 fights because of an injury here or injury there. So having physical therapy at my, right there every day is a major big difference. You know, I'm here healthy, and I made it to fight week healthy.
So
I haven't done that in a long time.
That's where you do like the majority of your training?
Mm-hmm. Couture's and then at the PI both, yeah.
And do you bring your coaches there with you, or do you work with coaches from the gym?
Both. I bring in Rodney Chrysler's my boxing coach, Peter Pinto, my Muay Thai coach, Glenn, wrestling coach. Yeah, and I bring him up there. We come here. It's Las Vegas. It's a little different. You kind of gotta hit the little circle.
Sure. Where were you living beforehand?
I was out in the Bay in Santa Cruz.
Okay.
Training at AK and CSA, which I can still consider my homes. That's really where I kind of feel like I really kind of came into my own out there. Without Coach Kirian, I don't think I would have made it back. He'll always be my head coach as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
Even if he's not day-to-day involved or whatever it might be, he was a huge influence, and he'll remain that way.
Kirian Fitzgibbons, right?
Yeah.
Will he be in your corner Saturday?
Sadly, no. They only give us one flight up, so.
Oh, so you only have one cornerman?
Yeah, I may have somebody possibly meet me up there. So.
Okay. And it's been a long time, obviously, since you last fought. Like, financially, did you have to get another job? 4+ years, I would imagine you had to make money some other way.
I made
right?
my money pretty well, and then I picked up a client here and there, stuff like that. But no.
What do you mean by client? Like,
I would do some personal training here and there, but not like I may have had 2-3 week at best.
Okay, but this wasn't like a big concern for you. Okay. And what do you know about Jeff Hughes, your opponent?
Legacy heavyweight champion, likes to go the distance, likes to spin about twice around, kicks about 20% of the time, boxer, karate style. He's exciting. I mean, if you're spinning, you're fun, right?
Right.
He does train out at Stipe's camp, I believe, but I don't know if he lives out there, so I don't know his actual extent of that. I mean, he was at Legacy. I think 5 fights he had the belt for. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
He's a tough opponent. He's game. I don't know a lot about him. There's not a lot to know.
To be honest, I actually feel like you do know a lot about him.
I mean, considering, I guess, right? But there's just not a lot to uncover.
Right.
I've had to, you ask questions, of course. It's smart,
Sure.
right?
Do you get the sense, Todd, that like people miss you, that people are really like, I'm genuinely, I hope you feel this, I'm genuinely excited to see you back. Do you get the sense that the fans, there's a lot of new fans in the sport since you last fought, the Conor era, all that stuff. Do you feel like people miss you, or do you think that people like forgot about you or don't know about you?
I think a lot of people don't know about me now, but yeah, definitely. I mean, every day of my life since in the last 4 years, some strangers ask me, when are you coming back? Where are you? Why aren't you fighting? Yada, yada, yada. I mean, yeah, of course, I can tell that I haven't been forgotten. That's for sure. Somehow I ended up on the main card. There's 2 ranked heavyweights fighting the same night, and they're on the main card. I don't know. That says a lot, right?
Yeah.
I didn't make it to the open workouts, but I did make it to the Ariel Helwani show.
Who needs that, right? Who needs the open workouts? Right. This is the real stage.
Right. So, I mean, yeah, of course, obviously, I still have a pretty heavy fan base, it looks like, and I'm very thankful for that. I appreciate the patience. It's been a tough road, but I made it,
I have to be honest, like I texted you on Friday. I think I just wrote, "Hi, Todd." I didn't know if that was still your number because it's been a while. I really didn't think you were going to write me back. I always wasn't really quite sure what you thought of me. So I thought maybe you'd be like, screw this guy, or wrong number. So I'm really genuinely happy to see you.
Oh, Ariel, I thought we were friends. Do you remember that last interview? I think it was the last interview. It was terrible.
Yeah.
Remember when I was trying to call out Frank and I couldn't get him to take the fight? And maybe an hour before he took the fight, and we just had no smoke. We lost. We had all these great lines to give him, and he ruined it. It was great on his part, I guess.
Right.
You remember that interview?
Vaguely. Oof. I mean, it's been a while. It's been like 4.5 years, right? I've done a lot of interviews since then. But I appreciate that you remember it. By the way, speaking of that Frank fight, like the fact that was the last one, that's the one where it kind of stopped at. Does that eat at you? Does that bother you? Do you still think about that fight a lot?
I'd love to get it back. Of course, you want all those back. Not really, though. It doesn't like eat at me in any particular way.
Okay.
I did not expect it to go down the way it did. I mean, but you never do, right?
Right.
He came out aggressive, which was again, I hate to say it. Every time I think about that fight, it's like, man, how can you be shocked that somebody came out to fight?
Right. Is there a chance we're going to see a different Todd Duffee in this fight? Like, have you evolved to the point where you're a different kind of fighter?
I don't know. It's I think my skill set's been much greater than I've probably typically shown in fights, either because they've been too quick or just the way the fights have kind of played out. But no, I mean, I'm still the same guy, I would think, right?
I don't
Probably
know.
Just a little sharper, a little better, a little more mature.
Yeah. Do you believe in ring
rust? I mean,
rust?
I haven't stopped training. I don't really think ring rust is a thing. I've had big gaps between fights before. Excuse me. So no, I don't think that's like a major factor. It could be, maybe. I don't know.
If someone's just learning about Todd Duffee now for the first time, what's the one fight that you want them to watch before this fight on Saturday? What's the quintessential Todd Duffee fight? The best fight of your career thus far?
I think it's going to be this Saturday.
Ooh, good answer. But if I want to get ready for you, if I want to like watch you, a primer, if you will.
I don't know. Would you not say I'm the most exciting heavyweight in the division, Ariel?
Well,
why do you miss me?
I miss you dearly because it's always kill or be killed with you, right? Let's be honest. You're either knocking someone out or you're getting knocked out, but it's never boring. It's never been a dull affair. It's never been like, one of those heavyweight fights that just drag on. You come in there, more often than not, it ends in the first round. You've given us incredible moments. Fastest knockout in heavyweight history, 7 seconds, right? I mean, you've really come and delivered. Plus, there's been some drama along the way that there's like an aura around you, right? You're a specimen. You're built like a freaking RoboCop. I mean, there's just a lot about you that people have always been drawn to. How about that?
Yeah, fair. Yeah, there you go.
I'll never forget.
I agree. Sure.
I want to be put on the fast track. Remember that?
Yeah, man, I wish I would have fought Paul. He's friends with me. I'm real good friends with Paul Buentel now. I still wish I would have kicked his ass.
Yeah.
I was 1 cornerstone shot away from beating him up. I just didn't know any better. I wanted to just protect my back, so I ended up pulling out of that fight.
What does Paul Buentel do now?
Paul's the man. He's living in San Jose with his wife, Sia. We were training together like 2 years ago. He took a fight in a couple fights in Russia, I believe. I helped him get ready for those. He's working, he's living life, he's loving life, I think he's got a couple businesses he's running. I don't want to, those are his details, not mine.
Sure. I just haven't heard that name in a long time. Always one of the good guys in the game, so it was nice to hear from him. Well, I have to say...
Yeah, I think he knocked out Eric Prindle recently, and then, I don't know, he had like 2 fights over in Russia I helped him get ready for. I just don't remember. I remember one was like short notice, and then Eric, I think.
Okay. Well, I must say, great to see you again, Todd. I'm very...
No, let's talk about the heavyweight division.
Oh, okay.
What's new in the heavyweight division?
What do you mean? Like, what's going on?
Was there anybody exciting?
Well, there's Stipe.
Or is that why you're so excited about me?
Stipe's out there, right? DC is still out there. We had Cain saying that he's going to come back, so that's exciting. Derek Lewis is coming back as well, so that's fun. JDS is coming back against Alexander Volkov. So there's a lot there.
We're all still here.
You're all still there. We even have arguably the best heavyweight on the planet, Ryan Bader, coming up next on the program.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What do you think of that? 205 are dominating the heavyweight division.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, Ryan's got a great left hook. He's a great wrestler. I don't think he's fighting the best heavyweights yet. I think that Russian cat might give him some problems.
Right.
One of the beat just beat Tim Johnson. Minakov, yeah.
Yeah, Minakov. Yeah, he's good. Yeah, that's interesting, but that's not of your concern. You're a heavyweight in the UFC, and you return this Saturday. UFC Vancouver, beautiful city, by the way. I don't know if you've ever been there, but one of the all-time great cities. Yeah, you've been there.
I'll be paying Canadian taxes this Saturday. I'm a Canadian this weekend.
Beautiful. There you go. So we welcome you with open arms, Todd. Thank you for doing this. Good to see you again.
All right, thank you, Ariel.
Good luck.
Good to see you, man.
There he is,
Thank
Todd
you.
Duffee. One of the great characters in the history of this sport returns to action on Saturday against Jeff Hughes. If you've never heard of this man, do yourself a favor, watch him, or watch our show tomorrow night on ESPN2, because we did a little trip down memory lane. We turned back the clock. The guy's had a crazy career. Kill or be killed, Todd Duffee. All right, so I just spoke about Ryan Bader. He returned to action this past Saturday. He fought in San Jose, main event against Cheick Kongo. Unfortunately, it ended in a no contest, controversial finish. He's joining us right now via FaceTime. And Ryan, I know you don't like to do FaceTime, so I appreciate you doing this very much.
No, you're good. I just got home, so we're good to go.
Thank you. I appreciate it greatly. So, did you or did you not poke Cheick Kongo in the eye?
Yeah, looking back at every video I've seen, there was, I had my finger was in his nose, basically, and that's when he winced and grabbed his eye. I haven't seen any picture, or there was no videos that they brought forward or anything like that showed my thumb going in his eye, and like I said at the press conference after, I didn't see any videos at that point. I said, hey, if it did, it was unintentional. We're in, close quarters right there, pushing off. But then going back and looking at that, it was right in his nose. And then he, posts a picture of his eye being red right there. We were just in a fist fight, hit him with a good uppercut. So going back, I think they would come out with some evidence and proof that I digged him in the eye, and there hasn't been any of that.
So you feel like you didn't even go anywhere near his eye. You kind of like poked his nose. Yeah,
if you look at my Instagram, I put a little zoomed in slow-mo video of that, and it shows my thumb going kind of in his nostril. And then immediately after that, he grabs at his eye, and his eye was open before that. And so, that's a video that I have, and going back and looking at that, that's when he winced, and that's when he grabbed the eye, and that's when he called for, the ref to come in. And it clearly shows there on that video on Instagram that it was not in the eye.
Did you need to watch the video to confirm this in your mind, or did you know, like, even in the moment, there's no way I poked that guy in the eye?
I didn't think I did, but the video just confirmed it. You never know. Like I said, you're in a fist fight in there, you're close quarters, and we were up against the cage at that point, and trying to get some space to throw some punches. And so, I figured we were going to just resume. He was going to take his time or whatever. But he immediately was. If you look back at other fighters and look at like Nate Diaz's last fight when he has something going on with his eye, the ref asks, are you all right? And he's like, yeah, I'm good. Kongo, I think he wanted to wait out, and immediately he's saying, I can't see. And they called it within the first, minute or so of him not even taking his whole time. So, for me, it looked like he wanted to weigh out, and that was his way out.
So you feel like he was just looking for a reason to stop fighting, right?
Yeah, I went in there and I hurt him with every punch I threw. A stiff jab right at the beginning. He started buckling. I hit him with a couple left hooks, and I mounted him. I was on top, and I could feel him kind of, his power just kind of decrease. And when that happened, I was like, come on, you're not going to take this from me right now with that. And like I said too, at that point I did not know, and obviously nothing was intentional at all. And so I just kind of felt like that was his chance, and I felt like I would have finished him within that round. I was gaining some, good positioning and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, for running through my head, that's what it felt like.
Do you have any interest in running this back?
Right away I kind of did, but I don't know. It might be. I don't think the next fight. I think I need to go back down to light heavyweight. I think I owe it to that division. I want to be a 2-division champ when we have these belts, and therefore I need to go back down. I haven't fought in the light heavyweight division in a while now, so I talked to Scott a little bit before this fight, and that might be the plan. And I'll probably stay down there a couple of fights because I don't want to yo-yo back and forth. I want my body, if I go down 205, to be there for a couple of fights before going back up. But we can run it back when I go up to heavyweight. I feel like that's being in there with them already, and knowing what to expect. I feel like that's easy money for me.
Is there a part of you that just kind of wants to end the back and forth thing? Like, is your heart really set on being a heavyweight?
I've been successful at heavyweight. I ran through that tournament. Literally in 4 fights, I have not been punched, at heavyweight. So I feel good, and I think I owe it to myself to keep rolling in the heavyweight division, and I'm gonna be, I've been doing whatever Bellator has been telling me. So, they wanted me to defend the heavyweight belt, and now they want me to go back down. And I just don't see a reason why I wouldn't continue to fight at heavyweight and try to keep defending both these belts.
And so then we get, so like, I'll be honest, the fight was over. I think I watched your interview, and it had been a long day of fighting with 242, and I turned it off.
Yeah.
And then I checked my phone, and then I see Ryan Bader and Rampage. And so I went back to my app and rewound the tape. And like I was like, what is going on at this point? It's been such a crazy day. What exactly happened here? Like, cause we couldn't really see the beginning of this. Could you tell me your side of the story? What happened between you and Rampage?
Yeah, no, I was just sitting there talking with my coaches, and then, you exit the cage. So we went to go exit, and they're like, no, the other side. And I'm walking up. I kind of have my hat down, kind of, thinking about what just transpired. And then there was a little commotion at the beginning, and I kind of look up, and there's this guy in front of me, and he's yelling at me or whatever. I thought it was Congo's dad. And he's whispers something like, you did that on purpose, you did that on purpose. And I realized it's Rampage at that point. I think he was a little liquored up, and he was trying to get in my face and all that. So, basically we just got a little heated. So I told him, come on, I threw my belt in the middle of the cage, and they were holding back or whatever, and our corner were kind of getting into it. But, he went, before that, he looked at my sister, called her a bitch, and, was talking shit to my parents right there in the stands and all that. So it was pretty classless right there, so I didn't know how he got up there, how they let him get up there, but I was walking out, and he was basically blocking that. Like, I wanted to wait out of the fight. Like, I wasn't dominating that fight the whole time. So it was just silly.
Wow. So to the best of your knowledge, he was talking smack to your parents?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he was getting booed out of there, right? My sister, she's about 100 pounds, and he turns to her and he said something about, called her a bitch and all that, So,
what?
And then he proceeded to get booed out of the whole arena there. So, like I said, emotions are going. I know that Congo's his buddy and all that, but I don't think he had a right to come up there and accuse me of doing anything on purpose. And acting like I wanted out of that fight when I was clearly dominating. I was well on my way of finishing that fight too.
You think he's trying to get another fight with you? Of course, you beat him at UFC 144, and I know that fight has always bothered him. Do you think that that's what he was really trying to do at the end of the day?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if, like I said, it was more of like a passionate deal where, Con was his buddy, or if he's kind of angling for a fight. But yeah, hey, I'm all for it. I'm all for going out there and beating his ass again. So we'll see. We'll see what, Coker said he was going to talk to me soon and where we want to go.
Okay, and by the way, were any punches thrown or anything like that? Or
no,
landed?
They had security there. I walked up, and that's the only time we were close. I didn't even realize who he was until we were a foot away from each other. And then once he started, mouthing off a little bit, security ran in, and kind of separated us both. And I'm not looking to have a classless brawl after we just fought. It was clearly dominating his buddy there. And so they got him out of there. They took him out. They got us in our locker room. Took my family back there. That was kind of the end of it.
Okay. And by the way, I mean, it was, looking at your social media all week, one of the fun storylines, if you will, was you continuously getting your, I think, brother-in-law with these pranks. Yeah. And I must say, like, it's funny to watch, but like being on a plane and having an open bottle just like poured on your lap, that is not fun.
No, it's not fun. He's a good sport about it. We've actually been, he married my sister and all that, so I got to hold that over him a little bit. But he takes it in stride. He does the same to me sometimes. We just started kind of messing around, videoing a little bit, and then people seem to like it. And then it's going to be tough to keep escalating that.
Yeah. By the way, how much time was left on that flight? Like, how long did he have to sit there with the water all over his pants?
Oh, it was a good hour.
Oh gosh, that is. And then you get him with
it was better though that I could drive before I had to walk through the airport though.
Oh, and he didn't, like, as you ended the video right when he looked at you, like he didn't like punch you or anything or do. I mean, I know you're Ryan Bader, but
he's one of my quartermen, my brother-in-law, and he's actually a good boxer. So, he gets to get in there. We spar all the time, so it's not like he doesn't get his shots in or anything like that, But like I said, he's a good sport about it. He gets me back to just have a kind of a rule that when I'm in training camp, he can't go too far. He can't tease me or anything like that.
And then you got him at the A's game. Was that shaving cream?
Yeah, that was it. The A's wanted to do that. They saw that on their social media, and then they wanted us to kind of do something for me like that with just shaving cream and whatnot.
Yeah, it looked like he went for a double leg there for a second. Was that what he was doing?
Yeah, I was trying to grip a little bit. He had pretty good balance.
Yeah,
pretty impressive.
Amazing. All right, so is there a chance you fight again this year, or do you think you're done? Because I know they have that big Japan show coming up. Are you going to be on that?
Yeah, from what I know, we're trying to fight in December. So I think there's a Hawaii card and then the Japan card. So I'm all for. I'm even for trying to go for a rising belt, light heavyweight.
Oh wow.
I don't know if that'll ever transpire or anything like that. I know there's some talks about it a little bit, but I'm open to all those different things. That's why I came over to Bellator. I went up to the Grand Prix, the heavyweight Grand Prix, all that kind of good stuff. So I would love to go back to Japan. I actually fought Rampage back in the day over there, and had a great time. And I've been fighting in the States the last couple of years, but before that I was flying all over, fighting in Sweden, Australia, all that kind of stuff. So I'm always down to go overseas and fight in a new place.
Yeah, the light heavyweight champion there, the Polish guy, Yuri, is there talks of that, like a champion versus champion fight?
I just saw a little bit. I think Coker came out, with the media a while back. And I like that fight. I'd love to go try to get another belt there in another organization. And I love that they're open to cross promotions and all that kind of stuff. And but we'll see. I don't know. Like I said, I feel like I do owe into the light heavyweight division to go down and defend that. But at the same time, there's some big fights that need to transpire in that division that are coming up in the next couple of months too. So we'll just kind of play that by ear. But I think I'm obviously healthy coming out of this fight with Congo, and so I think either Hawaii or try to get on the Japan card.
Okay. Overall, though, you happy with Bellator? You feel comfortable there? You like the way they treat you?
Awesome. Yeah, we just did a new deal too. Before this was my first fight on that contract. So at that point, we had some options too, and it really, they made me super happy. And we definitely, I wasn't going to go anywhere, and been having fun with them. They treat me really well. A lot of respect there both ways, and I have fun every time I go out there. And I enjoy the process. I come over to Bellator, I felt reinvigorated. It was something new. I never need any more motivation, but having these cool opportunities, fighting for the belt right away in Madison Square Garden, going to the Grand Prix, and that was a lot of fun. Fighting Fedor, 2 fights ago, and winning the heavyweight belt, and now being able to jump back and forth and have these different opportunities to do that too, and have some say in that.
So was your deal up, or they just wanted to sign you before it was up?
Yeah, we signed it before it was up. We were trying to renegotiate throughout the Grand Prix, and we just kind of bet on ourselves and say, hey, we'll wait till after the Fedor fight, and obviously that turned out great. So I think I had one more fight on the contract left, so we kind of tore it up, did a new deal.
Oh, wow.
And that was the first fight on the new deal.
Did you consider testing the waters at all?
It really didn't even get there, because what we kind of wanted, they gave us. So it was, we didn't even have to. It would have been stupid for me to go even look anywhere else. I'm not going to get what I got from Bellator really anywhere else. So, like I said, I'm super happy, and I was coming over, and I'm going to be here for a while.
All right. Well, congratulations on that. I know the fight didn't go or didn't end the way you wanted. You look great. It seemed like you were at that point on your way to a victory. I'm sorry it ended that way, but keep up the great stuff, my man. You're having a great run over there, and it's pretty impressive to see what you've been doing, and be pretty cool to get another belt from a different organization on your resume as well.
Thank you.
All right, and thanks for doing this after landing. I appreciate it, Ryan.
Of course.
All right, there he is, Ryan Bader, joining us, the Bellator light heavyweight and heavyweight champion, coming off that controversial ending to the fight against Czech Congo, in case you missed it. They stopped the fight. Congo said he couldn't see. Rampage posted that picture afterwards of the eye. I'm not sure if that's the evidence that is really needed in that case, because I did see, if you go on Bader's Instagram, you'll see that he has this slow motion video. It's hard. Like you want to, there's the eye right there from Rampage's Instagram, but you want to. I mean, I'm not calling Cheick Kongo a liar. Who the hell am I to call Cheick Kongo a liar? In the video, it looks like he's hitting his nose like right here, and it drags up. But who the heck knows? It's a bizarre thing. That champ versus champ idea in December. They are planning on doing a show in Japan. Last I heard, a sort of co-promotion, having Bellator in Japan and Ryzen. You know how Ryzen does the December 29th show, and then December 31st show. Well, one of those could be a Bellator show, and I've heard there were some talks of Bader fighting there, and also Rampage versus Fyodor Emelianenko, and possibly his last fight in Japan as well. So we'll see what happens. It also was the start of the Bellator featherweight Grand Prix, the 16-man tournament. My favorite part of the whole thing was, I don't know if a lot of you saw it, but Emmanuel Sanchez, prior to his fight, did the old school Jackson Wink nipple rub. Did you guys see that? I feel like I'm the only one who saw this. Maybe everyone was tired and burnt out after UFC 242. But not only did he do the old school Jackson Wink nipple rub, he did the Vanderlei Silva hand roll as well. I got to find out the story. Perhaps I could reach out to Emmanuel this week, because I did not expect that. I don't think he has any ties, correct me if I'm wrong, to any of those guys. If you don't know the story, back in the day, the Jackson Wink fighters, George St. Pierre, Rashad Evans, Keith Jardine, when they were being announced by Bruce Buffer, they would all rub their nipples. It was a very bizarre thing. And there was this guy on YouTube, I think his name was Lookout Whale, who did this compilation video of all the fighters doing the nipple rub tweak thing. It was very strange. And they said it was like something that gave him powers. I don't know, some bizarre thing. Had not seen that in a very long time. And then all of a sudden, in my half-asleep state, I see Emmanuel Sanchez doing it, and then doing the Vanderlei Silva hand roll, which I popped for. The results from the first round of the tournament, by the way, Pedro Carvalho, who they're very high on, out of SPG, beat Sam Sicilia via rear naked choke in the second round. Emmanuel Sanchez, the aforementioned Emmanuel Sanchez, defeated Taiwan Claxton via triangle choke in the second round, and Adam Borsch defeated Pat Curran via TKO in the second round. And then finally, of the fights that happened on Saturday, Derek Campos defeated Daniel Strauss via unanimous decision. So all in all, a pretty solid start to the tournament. And there were some other good fights, but it's just tough. It's tough when there's a UFC fight, it ends at around 5 o'clock, and it doesn't just end. You're like, I mean, forget about the media, but for a fan as well, like, you don't just say like, all right, and that's it. There's Khabib proving once again why he's one of the greats. There's Dustin Poirier crying. Like, you watch the post-fight stuff, you watch the press conference, you take some time to calm down, you're on Twitter. Like, there's a lot that happens. It takes, at least for me, like a couple hours to come down from a very intense event. And then another one starts right after. So it's always hard. I wish that they would steer clear of each other. Like, if there's a show on Saturday, at least do Friday, going on the same day. And plus, from a media perspective, like, you're always going to get overshadowed. You just are, and that's unfortunate, because this was a really good card. I watched the majority of it. Caspel with a nice performance on the undercard, improving to 4-0. Talked about him in my honorable mention list, so look out for that later. In any event, it's a very tough thing when you're going on the same night, but they did it. And now they have another event later this month in Inglewood, California. Coming up for the UFC, like I said, UFC Vancouver this Saturday. Justin Gaethje, Donald Cerrone. A lot at stake in that fight. A fight that doesn't really need any promotion or any hype. We know who these guys are. It's a fight fan's dream. It's a fight that, like, I can't foresee any scenario in which this fight does not deliver. And I really think, and this is not gratuitous at all, I really think that there's high stakes involved in this fight. I really think that the winner of this fight could very well be next for Conor McGregor. You'll recall earlier this year they tried to do Conor versus Cerrone in July, and you'll recall that they also tried to do later on Conor versus Justin Gaethje. And so that's not just an idea that I'm throwing out. There's a legitimate backstory there. And of course, Cerrone has been calling for this fight. You've seen some of the stuff probably that Justin Gaethje has been saying on social media leading up to the fight. He has been very aggressive towards Conor. So there's something there. And it seems like the perfect fight. Like if I'm advising Conor at this point, you want to come back, great. You want to get that belt back, great. You're focused again, great. You got the mojo back, great. Well, let's get a win. Let's get a favorable matchup. Let's get a striker. Let's get the win, and then we'll talk about the title. But to jump back in there against Khabib, in my opinion, is just not smart. And it's not because I think you're going to get mauled or it's a bad match. I mean, he'll definitely be the underdog going into that fight, no doubt about it, considering how the first fight went. But why not just get a win? And I'm not saying a tune-up fight. I'm not saying like these guys. Look at that, 4 versus 5, whatever those rankings mean. But you get the point. Like it's Gaethje, it's Cerrone. We know who these guys are. Fight the winner of that fight. Beginning of next year, see how Khabib Ferguson goes, and then fight the winner there. I mean, they can't ignore him. It just makes too much sense to have Conor in big fights. But that's, if I were advising him, like everyone has a dance partner at this point. Max has Volkanovski. Diaz has Masvidal. Ferguson should have Khabib. Like everyone's kind of paired up. This to me makes the most amount of sense, and it makes the most amount of sense from a timeline perspective as well. Like they're fighting Saturday, so just have the winner fight him, early next. I mean, for Cerrone, that's even like 2 months too long probably. So I think there's big stakes. There's other big fights. One fight in particular that I was looking forward to was the return of Michel Pereira. As of right now, he doesn't have an opponent. I spoke to his management, and they told me that they suspect he will have an opponent. His original opponent was pulled due to a visa issue, but I was told as of right now that they're hopeful that he will be on the card. Remember, Michel Pereira's debut back in May was phenomenal. One of the all-time great debuts. He was like a human highlight reel. I was like watching a video game character just flipping all over the place. That was the guy who was kind of made into an internet sensation just a few months ago when he was fighting, I think, in Korea, and video emerged of him flipping all over the place. Well, he got signed by the UFC. The debut was just as impressive, if not more. And now I was really looking forward to his return. Opponent gets pulled, but it seems like as of right now, even though he doesn't have an opponent officially, last I checked right before we went on the air, it sounds like he is going to get one, or at least they're confident that he's going to get one. We are awaiting the arrival of Jorge Masvidal. Hopefully he's going to be joining us in a matter of moments. You probably have heard by now that he will be fighting against Nathan Diaz on November 2nd at Madison Square Garden. You've probably seen the tweets now from The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, saying that he wants to be the one to put the BMF title around the waist of the winner. Everyone going crazy about this fight. Everyone very excited about this fight. What a scene it's going to be at Madison Square Garden. The perfect venue for a fight like this, in my opinion. Broadway. Big deal. There's The Rock. How about that? Jorge Masvidal saying, I'm telling Dana White, I want you to put the belt around my waist. 305 all day. Of course, The Rock Johnson used to play for the University of Miami, or the U, as the cool kids like to call it. He said, doing all I can to make this fight. If I can and you win, I'll put the belt around your waist at MSG. Consider it done. Wait, does that mean that he's only going to put it around his waist, not Nate's if he wins? Already shaping up to be one of the biggest and most electrifying fights in UFC history. Can't wait. I've noticed that The Rock these days has been promoting the UFC a lot. I wonder if that's because he's managed by WME. I don't know. I know he's always been a big fan. Who am I kidding? UFC 119, I interviewed him in Indianapolis, of all places. And that card is shaping up to be pretty darn good as well. Darren Till versus Kelvin Gastelum. Till's middleweight debut. Johnny Walker against Corey Anderson. That should be a lot of fun as well. What other fights have been officially announced for that card? Let me see. KSW 50, by the way, this Saturday. That should be a big one. Caitlin Chukagian against Jennifer Maia. That's an important one at 125. The return of the Black Beast, Derek Lewis against Blagoy Ivanov. That should be fun. Derek Lewis returning for the first time at MSG since, of course, he fought against Daniel Cormier there last year. Krzysztof Jotko against Edmund Shabazian. That's a big fight for Edmund. A little bit of a step up. He has looked good as of late, 10-0, a product of Edmund Tarverdian. So those are the names. November 2nd, Madison Square Garden, New York City. One other piece of information to mention before we hopefully connect with Jorge Masvidal. UFC President Dana White telling ESPN's Brett Okamoto last week in Abu Dhabi that they will not be booking BJ Penn anymore in fights after the release of that video, the street fight video that TMZ posted. Obviously, a very unfortunate ending to his career. We'll see what happens. We'll see if they release him. You know, there's going to be promoters out there who are going to want to capitalize on his name. At the end of the day, you just really hope that he can get his life back on track, that he can stay. You know, I know BJ's not happy with me. I've never called for anyone to retire. I've never tried to do that whole thing. And I'm not doing it because like, oh, I don't want to see BJ Penn fight again, or I don't think he can hang with some of these guys. I think he's not going down the right path. And I think that it's unhealthy to fight and unsafe for him to fight. I went through all this already. And, you know, I don't want to kick the man while he's down. I just hope that he's able to find peace and happiness and stay healthy, stay out of trouble, and that we can hopefully see him, you know, prospering life after fighting. He's given us a lot of great years, a lot of great fights, a lot of great memories, and I understand the idea of him being in a training camp is a lot safer and healthier than, you know, out on the street and doing whatever. But there's got to be another answer, because you can't fight forever. You can't fight till you're 50. You just can't. It's not healthy. It's not smart. You can't fight till you're 60. Like, at some point, it's going to end. So why not now when things aren't going well? So, you know, kudos to the UFC for recognizing that. We'll see if any other promoter tries to capitalize on his name. I hope that is not the case. And I definitely wish him the best. I wish him well. BJ Penn, one of the all-time greats, like on the short list. And the legacy has been affected, no doubt about it. Like, you cannot talk about the story of BJ Penn, the career of BJ Penn, without talking about the last 10 years. You just can't ignore it. But what has happened in the last 10 years should not affect what happened in the early days. The way he was a prodigy in the world of jiu-jitsu, in the world of mixed martial arts. When at one point he was the best lightweight in the world. When at one point he was arguably the best fighter in the world, period, pound for pound. And so you hope that he's able to figure it out. And I'm curious to see what happens to him after this. By the way, after the, speaking of BJ Penn, I was just reminded that I reached out to George St. Pierre after Khabib Nurmagomedov's win on Saturday. I asked him about the victory. He said he is a very, very good fighter and no one has been able to find his weakness. Great champion too. And I know Dana White said sure in response to a fight against BJ Penn, but he's not holding his breath. I'm not as well. But you know what I am holding my breath for? November 2nd, Madison Square Garden, New York City. 305 versus 209. East Coast Gangster versus West Coast Gangster. BMF title on the line. Gamebred versus Stockton. Jorge Masvidal joins us right now on the phone. Are you there, my friend?
Damn, you gave me goosebumps with that intro. Ooh.
You like that?
Ooh. Ooh, but remember, I'm a goon, though.
Okay, my bad.
Thank you, Big Game. I'm a goon, Claire.
What does a goon mean, Jorge?
Don't worry about that.
Okay. Well, it's good to hear from you, my friend. Are you feeling better? Because, you know, we were supposed to talk a couple of weeks ago. I heard you were sick. Are you feeling okay?
Yeah, I'm way better, man. I was getting a little sick and shit, but I'm good now, man. I'm ready to roll.
Okay. So what a crazy week for you, Jorge, last week, because I heard that you were involved in a lot of different talks, a lot of different fights. Can I get your side of the story? Like, how did this fight with Nate Diaz come about?
Well, oh, man. Now after this, I spill my guts. A lot of people are going to be going to Twitter talking crap. I'm getting sick of this shit, man. All these crap talkers, bro. They don't pay me enough money to deal with these crap talkers, if I'm being honest with you. But they offered me a fight with Usman. And, you know, we went back and forth maybe a day on the numbers and stuff like that. And when we got to where I liked it and it was comfortable, I said, yeah, let's do it. I'm in. Usman didn't say the same thing till later. while that later was going on, they reached out to Nate. Nate said, I'm in. Let's just make it right for me. And then they approached me back again with the, hey, would you like to fight Nate? And I said, okay, let's fight Nate, you know? So that's how it happened. And, fuck, I'm excited, man. I mean, the light always comes forth. You know, there's a reason why all these guys are salty and hating and bringing up my name. It's because I'm the motherfucking main event, man. People want to see me fight. Nobody wants to see another man just hugging another man with not trying to hurt him or finish him or put him away or separate from yourself from the pack just to be petty and sniffing crotches. Nobody's into that, man. So obviously these guys got bumped off the card, and they put the two most thugged out motherfuckers they could find to go hard, you know?
And when you were offered title fight, Nate Diaz, like which option did you like better?
Well, I'll explain something to you real quick, man. I'll give an example, you know. We'll make him famous now, you know, whatever. Ben Askren, for example, right? What's the worst that could happen to me? This is how my mind works. What's the worst that could happen to me? This dude's going to hug me up, you know, no biggie. When I fight a guy like Nate, it speaks to my soul. Because when I think about what's the worst that could happen to me, I can think about some bad things, you know, me getting tired, me getting hurt, this guy trying to finish me, you know, trying to really end me. And those fights fucking speak to my soul. They motivate me. They wake up. I don't have to press the alarm button because I'm already awake. I'm already running. I'm already doing what I have to do because I know my life is at jeopardy. And when I'm uncomfortable is when I'm most comfortable, if that makes any sense. So that fight immediately spoke to my soul. You know, not that I don't want to fight for the title, not that I don't want to bust open Usman's head wide open for the world to see. But, you know, we all know what he does, man. He's going to try to point fight and just sniff a crotch, you know? Whatever. You know, he's going to get his. But first, I want to throw down, man. What I do left in the sport, I want it to be epic. I want to be involved in the biggest, baddest fights. And that's all I've been doing. That's all I've been doing since I'm back. I'm trying to give you guys the KOs you guys want, the quick fashion KOs, the brutal endings. That's all I'm trying to do. All these motherfuckers are doing is just being salty. Fucking punks.
Were you expecting Nate Diaz to call you out after his win over Anthony Pettis? Like, you were there in attendance, but did you have an inkling that he would do that, or were you surprised?
Yes and no. You know, I mean, I thought there's always a chance because, hey, he's at 170. He just fought a top-ranked guy. They got a finish over Thompson, you know, so I was like, there's a possibility, you know. I didn't know it for a fact, so it threw me a little bit for surprise, you know, especially the way he did it. I thought it's just how kind of you're supposed to do it. Like, man, you're good, I'm good, let's find out who's the best, you know. That's between men, how men kind of operate. Little kids got to, fuck you, you little bitch, and go to that all the time because that's how they do. And since they don't really throw that in the gym, that's how they have to pick up the slack, you know, by doing all these extra shows. I mean, shit, man. People have been, I think there's a betting odds taking bets already on whether me and Nate make it to press conferences, whether we'll ever show up to one of them. That goes to show we don't do our fucking work in this media age of talking shit. We're just going to get in there and fucking throw down and find out what's up. Not a lot of motherfuckers can say that nowadays. And that's, I think, what brings so much value to this scrap that, yeah, maybe we're not going to talk too much. Maybe we will. Maybe I'll show up to a press conference. Maybe I won't. I don't know. But shit, you know I'm showing up November 2nd with bad intentions. That's what the fuck you do know.
Do you have respect for Nate Diaz, or is there bad blood there between you two?
I never had any incident for you to even bring up bad blood, you know? Like, you just starting to start shit right there, man. No. The fight's already going to happen. We're already going to kill each other, man. You don't got to do that.
No.
Bad blood. Me and Nate, I've always had respect for that dude, you know, for his whole clique. I see him like, there's spics like me, but in the other side of the country doing their thing, you know, getting after it, coming from a humble place and using his God-given abilities and will to further his life to get better, you know? So how could I hate on that? I love anybody that could go through a little something and then push through that little something and make themselves a better person, you know?
Were you impressed with his win?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Pettis' last fight, he was losing till he caught Thompson, but he showed the world he has pop. You know, if he catches you, if he hits you on the button, he can put you out. So I think early on, maybe Pettis kind of head kicked him. Nate looked like took it well, came forward, put the pressure on him, and just kept putting the pressure on him. And just, man, you know he's going to just box you up, but guys can't stop it. Just that 1-2 and fake and 1-2. Did some takedowns, too. He looked a little better in the wrestling. He also gained some size, you know. The clinch he looked way better in. So I was there live taking notes. gonna be a fight, man. It's gonna be a fucking scrap, man. Let's do this.
How do you feel about this idea of making an actual BMF title? Are you down with this? Do you like this idea?
Of course not, man. Fuck. Is that not the best idea you've ever heard? Listen, you don't have to leave the comfort of your home. You don't have to go into some fucking ghetto to watch this fight, where it usually would take place. A place maybe not too safe and comfortable. You get to do it from the comfort of your home or your sports bar or even the venue. You get to see some of the wildest motherfuckers in the country throwing down. Damn right, this has to have a special title to it, man. Damn right, this is a little different than everybody else. You understand what I'm saying, Ariel? I know you do, man. That's right. You're going to pay your hard-earned money for this because this is a scrap of scraps. Someone's going to get hurt, man.
And to the best of your knowledge, is the UFC making this title, or are you guys making this title, like the fighters?
UFC, motherfucker.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. And did you have any reservations about fighting in New York, or were you down with that as well?
I wasn't inclined to fight in New York, if I'm being honest with you.
Okay. Why not?
A couple of reasons. I had a couple of incidents with the commission. I'm a pro, man. You know, I know how this thing works, and I kind of got big time there. I didn't like how I kind of got treated in some instances, and just that alone, that's it. I don't have to have another reason. But the UFC needed me, and fuck it, I'm here, man. I'm here to scrap, you know. There's also a little bit of short notice. If it was up to me, I would have fought December 14th. Would have been a little better.
Okay.
But fuck it, I'm a gambler. This is what I love to do: is compete, you know, at the highest of levels.
You also told me a couple of times, I want to get paid. Like, I don't care. At the end of the day, my next fight, I need to get paid. Are you getting paid?
I'm getting paid and not played. That's for sure, man. Listen, your boy's happy, man. They took care of me, man. Now here we go, because there's gonna be a lot of bitches coming out saying, and when I mean bitches, I'm never talking about my female listeners, fans, or anybody. No, it's particular individuals that are bitches, that are sentient whores, that are very salty individuals. They're already salty, but when these numbers come out, man, some heads are gonna pop.
So I'd be remiss if I don't ask you about this, Jorge, because I feel like you're alluding to it a couple of times. We spoke to Colby earlier in the show. I don't know if you've heard about what he has said, but I asked him about...
I didn't hear it per se. I didn't hear it like coming out of his mouth, but right before I got on the horn with you, somebody dropped some knowledge that the Spice Girl was just talking about me, man, saying things. I don't know exactly what was said or not. All I know is that he knows what fucking gym I'm at, and when I'm fucking there, and I'm actually, maybe he doesn't know. So, I don't know, I could be at the gym tomorrow, Thursday, whenever you want, Colby. I could be at the fucking gym, and whatever incidents you're having, you know, we could talk about it like men. I mean, he had to tell Dana White that I was trying to assault him. Dana White came over to me like if I'm in kindergarten, talking about don't give out no 3 pieces of soda. I go, what the fuck are you talking about, Dana? And he goes, no, Kobe's telling me you're trying to fucking assault him. You can't do that. I'm like, oh, man, this guy's such a bitch. I told him, let's talk like men. Why are you online doing all this shit? For a like? For a follow of a fan? That's how low your soul is? Because 2 weeks ago, he's the one saying it. I was his best friend. I haven't said none of that shit in a while because this motherfucker did some shit I didn't like to somebody that I adore, and that's my coach. So since then, we haven't been cool, you know? This dude needs to slow down, man, because, I mean, he knows better than most who the fuck I am. So I'll be at the gym, Colby. If you're hearing this, you little bitch, because you will, because he acts like he's not sensitive at all, but he's the most sensitive dude I've ever met. He cries when he reads comments. So, Colby, if you're hearing this or when you read this, I'll be at the gym this whole time of the week, man. You know, if you want to talk like men or not, let me know.
You guys aren't friends anymore, right?
Man, we haven't kicked in some time. You know, I know the type of person he is. He's throwing my name out there, my best friend this, my best friend that. Since his fight, his title fight with RDA, an incident happened between him and my coach, and my coach cornered him in that fight as well. And since then, I ain't never kicked it with him, none of that stuff, you know. But I don't like to talk about it. This right now is stupid, you know. But since this guy's bringing it up and talking about all this shit, then fuck it, we'll bring it up. But this is supposed to be between me and him, not between me and the fucking world. That's the way I was raised. That's the way I was taught. But if you're gonna be a little whore and open up your mouth for attention, well, here it is, buddy. And guess what? If I'm talking shit, if I'm doing any of that, run up on me, bro. Come at me, man. Say it to my face. Pull up on me, man. See if this dude will even fucking look me in the eye, man. See if that shit will even happen.
he said you're the kind of guy who like is friends when you need something, but when you don't need something, you're not friends anymore. That was what seemed to be the thing that bothered him the most.
Yeah, man. I mean, if you start taking people like this seriously, I mean, this is what he wants to say. We've been talking about him, so this is the last question I'll answer.
Okay.
Because this is all, since he started his whole thing, we used to be cooler back then. So I heard his whole campaign of how he wants to do this and how he wants to do that and get people to hate him and then get people to love him because he's going to say, oh, I did it because they were going to cut me. All this stuff that he's doing, he's had this plan in his head for a while. And I get it. If you're ultimate heel and everybody hates you, that's cool. But, you know, I think when these heels go, like, everything that they say is just bullshit. Like, do you believe that he was slamming John Jones on his head in wrestling? I mean, do you believe that? The guy that Cormier, that's an Olympian wrestler, his same weight, couldn't out wrestle John Jones. Now, you think Kobe was grabbing him and slamming him on his head in Iowa wrestling match? Like, when do we draw the line for just bullshit and maybe somewhat of truth? Because the track record speaks for itself, man. John Jones, say what you want about the dude. I've met him numerous times. Cool dude. We have a lot of close friends together, and they got nothing bad to say about him. The only person was Kobe. He only had an incident with Kobe that I know of in this business. You know what I'm saying? And Kobe did some shady shit to him. Tyrone Woodley, same fucking shit. You know what I'm saying? Another guy, a great Muay Thai coach and fighter, Gregory Triplin, doesn't have the nicest things to say about that guy for the people that know that guy. My coach, Paulino Hernandez. So the track record speaks for itself. He keeps saying shit about me. He's going to get buried, man, because there's too many people that know the truth. You know? He needs to stop. Rapido.
Is The Rock going to be at the fight on November 2nd?
I mean, I'm not a fortune teller, but I think so.
Okay. They're making me rap, Jorge. I want to talk to you for another hour.
Wait up. Ariel, let me wait. You cutting me short?
No.
After you, how long you had coke, man? Who's telling you to cut me short, man? I took out time from my day to talk to you, and you cutting me short. Do you know who the fuck I am, Ariel? Who do you think you're talking to, man? Put your fucking producer on, man. Who's cutting me short?
Corporate Jake. I'll call him out.
Corporate Jake?
They're writing to me that I had. Could you believe this?
Corporate Jake sounds racist.
He's not racist. He's a great guy. But can I just ask, what is...
Ariel, I'm just fucking teasing you because you're cutting me short, man. You have a great time.
No, I'm dying inside, Jorge. I've been trying to... You're the hardest guy to get... No. I just want to ask you one thing.
No. Forget. You're not going to big-time me, Ariel. I know you're ESPN. You're fucking all over the newspapers. You're not going to big-time me, though.
What is your message?
I hold a little bit of weight.
What's your message to Nate Diaz? What do you want this man to know about you?
Man, he knows everything that there is to know about me. Between real men, it just takes a glance, man. You just exchange that look and know, bro, it's going to be go time, player. We're going, man. You know, the engines are running. We're going, and that's the thing, you know, with me and Todd, I didn't have to go back and forth with that dude. I knew since I sat across from him, I go, man, this dude's going to come to fucking turn my lights out. We don't need to be fucking talking shit. Maybe, you know, I understand to have gamesmanship and be funny and be like, oh, you're part of the Chin High Club, or you ain't got no jab, shit like that. That's either accurate or funny, you know. But in the case of in the case of a lot of the dudes, man, they just got to talk it because they can't bring it in a fight. You don't want to see these guys that are currently fighting. A lot of these guys you just mentioned in your interview that I made famous right now, Ariel, you don't care to see them fight. You're just doing it because you're getting paid to cover the sport. But you really don't care to see a lot of these crotch sniffers fight, and then all they do is just talk it up. Hey, look at me. I'm Floyd Mayweather of MMA. You know, be yourself, man. Stop.
It's amazing.
And listen, and no offense because, you know, I'm not even going to touch that guy. I heard this dude said he was nailing more chicks than me. Is that what I heard somebody told me that Buddy was nailing more chicks than me. Listen, only thing I'm going to say about that is I don't pay for sex. But you got to be kidding me, man. Come on, everybody knows, bro. I know bro, you kidding me, man? Stop, bro. It looks so put on. How, of all people, to say something, this idiot would dig his own grave like that. You see how stupid he is, man? You got the most evidence of you're the biggest cornball motherfucker that lived when it comes to the chicks. The dude stiff mics every time there's chicks around. And now you're talking about you get more. Man. Anyways. I got shit to do, Ariel. I love you, man. Stay up, bro. You guys have a great fucking day, man.
All right. Thank you.
Hey, let the light lead you to the truth, buddy.
That's right. And by the way, can I just say this, Jorge? If you're still there, I just want to say
still here.
it's a great story, my man. You've been through so much. To see you get this big fight on a stage like that against an opponent like this, after everything you've been through in your career, I'm genuinely happy for you, my man. You deserve it. It's great.
That's what I want to hear. That's what we got to start doing more often, Ariel. Me and you is more positive.
That's right.
All these haters and talking about them and making people famous that are never going to get there.
No, only positive.
Let's just keep how long we known each other. We'll go deeper than who said what and so-and-so said this. Who cares about these so-and-sos? From now on, let's try to make it about me and you, positive shit we're doing in our lives, and keep motivating ourselves and others. How about we do that, Eric?
Deal. I'm going to go to Westchester. I'm going to say dale to everyone in Westchester, and I'm going to be there, and I want to see the way you grew up, your hood. That's what I'm going to do to extend the olive branch, okay?
Cool.
Okay. Perfect.
Let's do it, man. Have a good day, Eric.
All right. All the best. There he is, Jorge Masvidal. I wish we had a camera on Corporate Jake back there in the control room. He's probably losing it right now. We went way over. I'll say goodbye. You can hit the music. I got nothing more to say. There he is, Jorge Masvidal. You didn't think I could get him? There he was, in the flesh. There was his voice. What in the world? What a day. What a sport. What other sport do you get characters like this? Tell me. All the nonsense, all the stuff that we have to deal with. This is why we do it. For characters like that, for fights like that, for November 2nd, for Madison Square Garden, for BMF titles, for whatever. 305-209. Is it November yet? What a scene that's going to be. What a day it has been. Thank you very much to all of you who tuned in. Thank you very much to all our guests. Thank you very much, Joanne Calderwood. Congratulations to her on the big win. Thank you very much, Javier Mendez. Congratulations to him and the entire team on the great win. Great performance by Khabib Nurmagomedov. Thank you very much to Colby Covington. Congratulations to him on just being back. I don't know. What a weird day it has been. Thank you very much to Cris Cyborg. Congratulations to her on the new contract. How about that interview from Cain Velasquez? Wow, one of my favorites. Thank you very much to Tony Ferguson. Hopefully he gets that fight. Good luck to Todd Duffee this Saturday, Vancouver. Thank you very much, Ryan Bader. And of course, thank you very much and congratulations to Jorge Masvidal on getting that fight against Nate Diaz. In case you missed anything, check it out. Twitter, YouTube, all those places and more. iTunes as well. Back next week, same time and place. Until then, I say peace. I'm out of here.